Podcast contains naughty language and ridiculous situations. Listener discretion is advised.
As I pour myself a double gulp full of rum, my full intent is to be sedated. And with that in mind, I would like to say happy birthday to one of my biggest influences and one of the greatest songwriters of all time. Ladies and gentlemen, happy birthday to the late legendary Joey Ramone. I love you, baby. And welcome to Trick or Treat Radio.
Zombies. You're listening to Trick or Treat Radio, starring the Deadites.
Welcome to episode 147 of Trick or Treat Radio. Trick or Treat Radio is a phantasmagorical spin kick straight through the heart of pop culture. It is navigated by the Deadites. The Deadites are the world's greatest electroshock band. We destroy monsters, we drink booze, we win championship belts, and we do album reviews once every 147 episodes.
Yes.
Well, it's the first time.
So on
Right, so it's the first 147 episodes.
so on episode 294, expect our next one, which will probably be
Wow, you're good at math.
Thank you.
You know what's funny about it is that this would generally be the first one that's like super exciting.
Yeah.
But like I'm worried that now that the kind of cat is out of the bag, similar to when we did Wrestle Kingdom, like
Yeah.
everything that I would want to do came out before this. Like I knew They Might Be Giants came out last week. Like, and what they did was really interesting. Like it would have been a cool interview, a cool review to get like people who aren't fans' point of view on it, you know.
Yeah.
But now we're gonna have to wait another couple of years for anything I care about to come out. Hopefully not 19. Though the Protomen have a record in the pipe that has been done for a while, so that could be good.
Yeah, definitely have to keep an eye on that. So we are, let me go through what we're going to do tonight. Someone's apparently smoking a bong. Ravenshadow, that you?
He's just coughing.
You can't smoke it here.
I'm sorry, it was in the pipe.
Did Joshua Wagner give you that stuff?
Yeah. Oh, man, I can't wait to see
Take his pipe and give it to you?
That was weird.
So on tonight's show, we're going to review the Arnold Schwarzenegger. Schwarzenegger. Is that how you say it? How do you say it, MZ?
I think it's Ronald Schwarzenegger.
Ronald Schwarzenegger.
We're going to review the Arnold Schwarzenegger zombie flick, Maggie, which just hit VOD. We're going to review that. And then later on, we are going to review, it's more than just a review. We're going to celebrate the career of Faith No More, because we're all big fans of Faith No More. And they just released their first album, Soul Invictus, in 18 years.
I've gotten into a fight with a douchebag on the internet about
I saw that.
Yeah, the guy's like, oh, well, they were big in the 90s, and then he starts putting up bands, the fucking bands that he listened to. It looks like a playlist for a date rape. And like,
Yeah, well, they know Limp Bizkit.
Cue the date rape music from Dynamo's phone.
yeah, like it's, like honestly, it looked like Michael Ravenshadow's greatest hits. It's like Kid Rock.
No,
and
there was no
Tupac.
Kid Rock on there. I saw that. There was no Kid Rock.
think
There
there
was
was
no
Kid-
Power Man.
You wish there was.
I wish there was.
What would be your playlist?
For
Whatever. I don't know. Anything.
not to be
Not for
what,
working out.
what time. No, I like to enjoy the Pantera.
Pantera?
Pantera was on there.
Pantera.
Isn't that a hair care product?
No, it's Pantene, sir.
Oh, okay.
Which he uses.
I do. Separate shampoo and separate conditioner.
Oh,
Your
you do the
music is
separate
all
one?
like,
One's a fucking lie.
Fucking Tony Manero.
Your music is all very testosterone laden. I feel like you like to listen to music that sounds like 90s WWF entrance theme music.
Well, yeah, I like the balls.
What?
I like having some stones.
Balls Mahoney?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
listening to
Yeah,
it
what,
doesn't
kidney
give
stones?
you it.
It does when I'm by myself. No, I like Faith No More. I'm not fighting with you. Yet. It's an early show. No, I don't like Limp Bizkit.
Just you wait.
I didn't wear red caps. The only guy
You like Andy Caps though.
I like Antichrist. No, I like the
That's a
only
one-way friendship.
Andy, pick up. He's not answering. No, I think Wes Borland was the only guy interesting in Limp Bizkit.
You're right.
I think he was in the wrong band.
Absolutely.
He should have been in the Deadites.
That happens a lot though. Like again, I'm not as big of a fan as some people are, but like as cool as Beck is, I feel like the guys in Beck's band were like 10 times better than him in like 1996 to 2005.
Well, like how Pat Smear was the coolest guy in Nirvana, right?
I don't know. I don't think that there's a fucking single thing cool about Nirvana.
You don't think Pat Smear?
Oh, Pat Smear is pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, he's fucking great. He loses points because he's in fucking Nirvana. Him and fucking Why the Long Face Dave Grohl.
Why the last man, Dave Grohl? Monsterzero,
Did you know
show me
Dave
porn.
Grohl was a funny, carefree pop writer that has made it despite the fact that he doesn't have Hollywood good looks?
Well, who would? People told me I look kind of like Dave Grohl.
Yeah, good.
They lied.
Who really? Who would have thought the fucking drummer for Nirvana, No Hate in Dynamo, would become? You know what I mean? Like it's like
He was the best part of that band.
oh, forget about it. Yeah, yes.
It's like Ginger Baker. He's
Like Ginger Spice. Remember her?
like that like
remember Scary
Nirvana
Spice?
is another pedestrian. I forget the name of that label. It's not SST, but it's like that. It's like Sonic Youth and a lot of those bands were on it without Dave Grohl.
But for like the drummer the drummer of a band that was big is now frontlining. Not frontlining. Frontlining was Pet Meds. Front Manning?
You mean Peyton Manning?
Yes.
Like phonetically try to tell us what you're fucking talking about. Like the fact that he's a star in his own right now.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't. There are two schools of thought. There are some people that think that he would have not got where he was if it wasn't Nirvana, which I guess is possible. But I know that there are probably Foo Fighter fans of a certain age that saw that video. That's like the Double Mint video, and like all their funny.
Oh, the
videos.
Mentos one.
Yeah, and all their funny videos and stuff like that. And
Tenacious D.
didn't have a clue of Nirvana.
That's fair.
So maybe that's what got him in the door, but I think that they stayed there on their own. I like the Foo Fighters a lot. They're a little bit pedestrian for me. Like, if I'm going to listen to that sort of power pop, I'm going to listen to, I can't even think of an example because it's generally not the type of thing that I would listen. I'm going to listen to Reverse from Boston. One of the greatest power pop bands I've ever heard, or even the Muse, So
Like a nooch.
they just don't, they're not for me, but somebody I was hanging out with the other day summed it up perfectly. And contrary to, it was JT said that, and he would probably be the one that thought I didn't think this way either, but I don't have a problem with music not being necessarily for me.
I love that Justin Timberlake hangs out on the Fib. That's what you guys mean, right?
Well, no, he came out the other day because he knew you already saw the movie. That was a crazy coincidence.
Yeah, I heard about
Me and
that.
Tiny White trying to sneak away from a mandate, and fucking Monsterzero stumbles in the middle of it.
Well, yeah.
Cock block 0.
I was sitting near Tiny White.
Dick in a box.
So
Brought jewelry.
jewelry? So why don't we go ahead and talk about that? Let me introduce everyone first, because I do want to get some thoughts on the film that we all saw. Oh, except for Ravenshadow. You saw a movie, though.
Yeah, I saw the Avengers.
You're in the film behind us, then.
Well,
And an evolution.
I like Captain America. I saw that on Friday.
All right. Well, we'll get your opinion in a
Yeah,
sec.
well, I just go fuck
Not
myself.
that it matters,
while
but
I'm waiting.
Just drink your beer, man.
I am
Drink your beer
Johnny
and call me,
Wolfenstein, the pencil pusher and producer of media for Trick or Treat Radio and the Deadites. We also have the immortal gunslinger, singer, lyricist for the Deadites, the I can't remember the
Whiskey drinking,
thank you.
father of all that's funky.
There it is, Dynamo Mars.
Never a junkie.
Always a funky.
I've just spent about $200 this week on all shapes, sizes, and varieties of Franco Nero headbands. Like I literally made a poster gallery of his films and went to where you got headbands and bought one for every. Like I fucking escape. I have like
Do you
fucking post-apocalyptic Franco Nero headbands. I have Django tied in the back.
All spaghetti westerns.
Yeah, I got fucking Gambit looking ones.
Coma.
There you go.
Yeah, Kioma. Yep.
Guillermo
Nice.
del
Do you have one
Toro.
from The Visitor?
Ooh.
When he was Jesus?
I also don't have one from fucking Killer Mermaid either.
Thank God.
But yeah, Okay. It's hot, and I don't want to wear a hat, and I'm bald. So everyone's going to have to deal with the fucking Frank.
Well, you could wear the wig that he wore in The Visitor.
If my fucking mesh
I would love
Irish
to see you in
walking
that.
cap is too fucking hot, how fucking I'm going to feel like I'm in a swamp's asshole if I wear a wig.
That'd be awesome if you wore that
For
long
someone
blonde
who
wig that
occasionally
he wore.
wears a wig on stage, like, that shit's hot.
Try this chainmail ball cap.
I would love
Ball
to do
gag?
that.
Ball gag.
Oh, like
Anybody else
like
here-
a Scott Steiner sort of thing.
Anybody else here ever wore chainmail?
No, Ravenshadow. What the fuck?
Yeah, his honeymoon.
It sucks. It pulls on your chest.
does.
there
I'm
when
a
you try to
hairy
take it off.
guy.
No, he doesn't. You don't wear chainmail. You have what are that thing? Things that wraps around your genitals.
Chaps. Oh,
Chastity belt.
chastity belts.
Yeah, no,
There's a
I wore a
Wife and
Concord
Shadow?
once, and I was scared that it might do permanent damage. Can you edit this out, Johnny?
It was
Nope.
tough. I was in another film. The one film I tried to direct, actually, I wore chainmail in it, and
Yeah.
it was hot and fucking. It was like heavier than I thought it was. Like I put it on, like dragged it over me like a normal shirt. I'm like, this isn't gonna be as bad as they said. I like put it to like my ribs, and then let it drop to where it goes, and I really felt like my spine was gonna come out my asshole. It was so heavy.
It's we're doing this on Tuesdays
why?
because we're very honest.
We also have the chain smoking, hand kissing, baby shaking, hot pocket loving, comic book reading nerd, and the official smoke machine for the Deadites. Actually, I'm going to remove the fucking comic book reading nerd. You don't read comics anymore, do you?
Well, how about you to get rid of the smoke machine pot?
Yeah. Well,
How about getting rid of it all, him altogether?
why don't you go fuck yourself, Monsterzero? Why don't you take some
wait.
fucking sabbatical?
I can't wait to hang out with Monsterzero tomorrow.
Monsterzero?
Yeah.
Hey, thanks, man.
Yeah. He's gonna go home at
You
fucking
guys
9
just
o'clock.
swap spit now?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's gonna go. He's gonna get there and go home as soon as he gets there.
Ladies and gentlemen, Black Cat Attack is taking the stage. All right, I gotta
Where-
fucking go.
Where's MZ?
Motherfucker, it's 8:30, sir. It's
I was
8:30.
Hanging out with Beaver McD the other day. He's like, I love when Monsterzero is fucking at our shows. He brings such energy. What do you think? I'm like, he's fucking out of there before we hit the stage.
Yeah, we don't know.
We'd have to play fucking Start on the Street to have Monsterzero there at like 11 a.m.
Matinee.
11 a.m. He'd show up at 8:30 a.m. waiting and complaining we had to wait so long.
Fucking Matinee Zero.
All right, Ravenshadow.
Yes.
That's you. That's your intro.
I did some stuff.
Michael Ravenshadow.
There you go. Smoking butts, Bambaleo. Oh, my Lord. Bambaleo. Did I say that already?
No. Why don't you say it again?
Oh, shit. You be the bitches that work for me, everybody.
Why am I even wearing these?
If being the man is a crime.
I'm guilty as charged. That's for you, Passy.
We also have the vulgar guru of horror, the star of the upcoming Morbid Tales, contributor for Horror Hound magazine, Monsterzero.
And sadly to say, when Morbid Tales does come out, you will not see me in chainmail.
Aw.
I know it's a bitch, ain't it?
That end up on the cutting room floor?
Yeah, unfortunately, I think it's going to. But you know what? I talked to Brian just the other day, and I said, you know what? God damn it! This next film, if I'm not in chainmail, then you can just forget about putting me in the film.
Well, there goes your movie career.
Well,
He said,
you know, hey, I have standards. You know.
Yeah,
Well,
the,
he's going to pay you in double Cadbury eggs.
Yeah.
Yes. I'll walk home with 8 Cadbury eggs instead of the 4.
About taking things out of editing people's intros. Contributor for Horror Hound magazine is something that I get a lot of questions about on the street.
Okay.
On the street,
Like just random people?
Like people just stop you.
Dynamo!
You would be
About that Horror Hound magazine.
You would be surprised. I certainly can't walk through that fucking movie theater I went to the other day without people asking me things about the show and the Deadites and whatnot. And there's a few other places. I mean, I was a
6
thing.
inches.
I was a thing before you. Before you fucking guys were. You know, like people know who I am. Not a lot, but people.
At the post office, your pictures there.
The
what-
adult
the only
diaper
reason
aisle
that-
at this local
Yeah.
CVS.
The guy on the fucking...
Listen, the only reason you two aren't
catch a
pedophiles
predator?
is that most 8-year-olds will be able to beat the fucking shit out of you. So don't
Hey, I
fucking
could take
tell
on
me.
an 8-year-old.
Yeah, right.
Don't
Well,
even get
Kids
me
are big
started.
nowadays.
Yeah,
They have that fluoride
like you'd fucking have
that jacks them up.
They got that
Better
fluoride.
gonna bite you.
Yeah. Much like
Jesus
Maggie.
Christ.
They'll bite you in your ankles.
But
Oh,
yeah,
the ankle
so
biters.
you know,
you know.
he did write one thing for Hound once, but that's sort of like fucking. He's the Ivan Koloff of Trick or Treat Radio, right? Still talking about that he was the WWF World Champion for 3 weeks in 1963.
It's something that I like to hang my hat on. I have no problem with it. I mean, if I ever get the opportunity to write for Horror Hound again or any other magazine,
I think that you did.
I'd be more
you
than
just
happy to
didn't
do it.
Huh? I think you did. You just didn't do it.
What?
I think
had
you
the
probably
opportunity.
did have the opportunity. You just
No, I haven't. I really haven't.
did you pursue it?
No.
No, I just haven't had the.
No, he looked up in the trade papers just like he did about
It was
porn.
given. It was the opportunity
no
was given
pens.
to me. The
Where'd all the
opportunity.
pens go, honey? Where are the fucking pens?
Yeah, but that was a pretty intense piece you wrote. It was like what, 8 to 10 pages
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
about a retrospective about Zombie,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like that's pretty intense. That's
I think
not
the
that's not
editing
like
of that is why Eric Newell won't come on our show though,
why.
because it probably took him 36 weeks to edit it. 8-10 pages. That's a lot of Monsterzero. Sidebars.
Try fucking 3 hours.
Monsterzero writes like I talk,
How's that?
like all crazy and all over the place.
You talk like old people walk.
So maybe you should get on that, MZ. I'd like to see you do some more writing.
I just might.
Yeah. You have a wealth of knowledge in that fucking brain of yours.
You should start a blog or something.
I've given that some serious thought actually.
Why don't we get some content on the trickortreatradio.com website? How about that?
Oh,
Why don't we put my
shit.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles review up there from 36 weeks ago?
All right, let's do that.
We are the nation of coordination.
I'm not the only one that can manage the website either.
Tell me, I'll do it. It's not like I'm not. I mean, if you talk to certain people on this board, I'm not doing anything else, so I might as well.
Talking to me?
I had a cool meeting. I don't want to go into it, but I had a cool meeting with some cool people about a cool Deadites thing that hopefully will be happening in the fall. So,
Like it was like the AC was on
it was.
in the meeting.
all I do know is that me and our buddy Michael Ravenshadow loved the Rev.
I know.
Drank $36 worth of IBC root beers on that.
Jesus.
Yeah, thanks for calling me.
Thanks. Like
Hey,
you
so
would have been
he
able
said-
to go.
He said root beer, not beer.
He said the Rev was there.
Yeah, that's as far as he got.
Was it like it was like the Rev?
Yeah, but we were
going
going to do some
other
work
beautiful
that
lovely?
didn't involve passing out on my couch watching Sons of Anarchy.
We could do that after.
After
Fuck
the
with me
meeting?
tonight. I'm already.
Don't fuck with me
I'm
because
already
I'm
in the
potato skins.
You want to go to Uno's?
Can we go to Uno's?
We got pork. Me and him ate pork potato skins.
Fucking eat with a Rev.
You know something? I let me just divert for a second.
Let's go to commercial.
I'm
Well,
looking
we
at,
never
you know,
do that.
I'm looking at Ravenshadow.
Yes.
Why?
Right here, right now. I'm
You're
looking
welcome.
at you, and you got the weirdest head profile I've ever seen.
I agree.
You got this forehead. You got this forehead that like sinks in.
It's weird.
And then
It's like
you
a five head.
And then your brow line goes out like this. You almost look like Brock Lesnar in a way. It's very bizarre.
Know what he always reminds
Take a
me
look
of?
at it. Look
No,
at it.
I
then.
see. You know what he reminds me of on the side?
Gorgonite tattoo and you're wearing jorts.
I can I'm not wearing shorts. I'm wearing jeans. You
Are you
dick.
shitting me? You're
You know-
43 years old.
You know what? I go from the profile. The only thing that I think he looks like, and I don't think this is a bad thing. I think it's a distinguished thing. Remember when you were kids and you'd cut out the piece of black paper so that it'd be like an Abraham Lincoln silhouette? Like that's what his profile reminds me of.
You need
He needs that stovetop hat.
yeah, exactly. You need that.
Or the stovepipe. Is it a stovepipe? Yeah, stovepipe.
give me
hat.
a
Well,
pipe.
Stovetop
well, it's got some stovetop in it. You can
Yeah.
eat that out.
Well, I think
Chicken
I
flavor.
think what I see the hat is the way the headphones, but with his hair all boxy.
Yeah, my hair's nice. What the fuck are you talking about?
Move your head that way.
You have side. No, you
You got side
you
vision.
got like a vagina head. How do you cut your hair? Vegematic? Like what the fuck?
His hair is looking good today.
Oh, hey,
Yeah,
leave my fucking
basically.
hair alone.
Yeah, look at
Yeah,
that.
Ronald
Look at
McDonald called. He
I
wants his
think-
color back.
I think it
Hair
looks.
awesome.
Yeah, it
like
looks
Mickey
amazing.
Dolenz.
It looks amazing. That's what I'm waiting for years.
Yeah,
That.
for a long
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Well, you know what?
He really does. Like I do think, I hate to say it, but like I do think if you look at like high school pictures of Monsterzero,
Yeah.
I feel like he kind of looks like John
He does.
Travolta.
I get that a lot.
But that's why I hated when you went from John Travolta and then you shaved your head and you look like Homer Simpson in a disguise.
I didn't look like fucking Homer Simpson.
Uncle Festa.
When does he say the hair thing? Is it right here? He hit my hair. Is that the?
Yeah. This is the scene. But it's a little bit ahead.
Give me a little bit
It's
ahead.
good radio.
Yeah, it's great radio.
That's great. That's
It
great.
really does look like him. Why don't you have a stage name of like Rich Travolta?
Dickie Travolta.
Who's rich?
Monster Volta.
Must.
Maz Volta. Maz Travolta. That's my new band.
How about Sean Revolta? That's a good name.
I love that dude.
Mon Travolta.
I was on a boat with him.
You on a boat with him?
I was.
I've always wanted to go to one of those parties.
And the best part about that was, you've seen the pictures. Well, I was talking to him like, oh, yeah.
My hair. It's Ravenshadow.
That is Ravenshadow.
All right. So we talked about what's going on. We introduced everybody.
Vinny Bambaleo.
Now, before we get into this, some of the film discussion,
Yeah.
Ravenshadow, you went and saw a film this week.
I did.
Which film did you go see?
I saw the Avengers Age of Ultron.
Hey, that's great. Hey, let's talk about the review.
So, no spoiler. What did you think?
I enjoyed it. I disagree with Joey Tron.
Whoa, you guys going to come to fisticuffs? He's your
Although
boy.
I do suspect I will have at least a 45-minute conversation with my man JT. There were several fist bumps up in the showing.
Fist bumps?
Yeah, like woo! Like I really
Can you go
enjoyed.
alone?
Five to the sky?
Yeah, no, I really enjoyed like some of the Vision and Scarlet Witch eyes to each other. I enjoyed the Wakanda reference. I enjoyed.
That was a reference. They fucking went, right?
It wasn't a reference. You should go to Wakanda.
I'm trying to. They
You're going
won't
to
let
get
me
a
in.
vibranium brajol.
Here you go. Ulysses S. Claw.
Yep.
No, I had a lot of fun. Is it fucking Casablanca? No.
No, it's definitely not Casablanca.
But I had a blast. No spoilers, but I feel that there was a certain character that you think that they died, but I don't think they did. And I wish they showed that character in bandages at the end.
Well, we have to wait till the
Does that make sense?
Civil War, maybe.
No, but I love the twins. Scarlet Witch, super hot.
That's Elizabeth Olsen.
I don't give a fuck who the fuck it
You know
was.
who her sisters are?
The rat
Oh,
girls.
Snoop. Are they the fucking
Uh-huh.
the Full House?
Yeah.
Those anorexic bitches. Yeah.
Is she the older one?
I don't know if she's older or younger, but she's one
She's
of them.
younger.
Oh shit, her parents should be fucking forced to mate.
What? What the
Make-
fuck?
Make a super race. Because she was stunning. I liked her.
Yeah,
If I was a brother, I'm just saying.
Oh, Jesus.
she's cute.
Did you notice who played Quicksilver?
The
you recognize
guy with the white hair.
It's kick-ass.
It's Kick-Ass.
Really?
Yeah.
No shit.
Yeah.
It was Kick-Ass.
He was fucking good.
Hmm.
Little scruff.
Hey, while I'm thinking of it, real quick, not to interrupt our raves, but
Rapes.
do not click on Patsy's Superman, Batman thing, at least on your phone. You will get inundated with so many fucking ads. It's like ridiculous.
Really?
Yeah, thanks, Patsy. Why
Rant
don't you-
Lifestyle? I've never heard of that
I
site.
don't know how it works on the real live computes, but
Why don't you go back to writing and stop posting?
I love that dude like he's blood. But I was gonna, if I had saw him, I would have thrown my phone out the window at him. I was like fucking freezing up because I was getting to lose weight this way, and the U.S. doesn't believe this site is legal, and
No,
take a
they
fucking
don't.
poll.
Take a poll.
Yeah, they're like, take a poll. And then I click away. I don't want to take the fucking poll. And then they're like, are you sure you don't want to take the poll? Right? And I go, no. I hit no. And then the poll
No.
starts.
Go fuck your poll. And listen, we went to war with who I saw this movie with.
Wife and Shadow.
No, she was fucking out of town, running amok, Atlantic City.
Without you.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. That's
I
true.
don't want to go there.
That's true.
But
All right.
there was the mid-credit scene, and we even asked the attendant at the theater
Because they
if
know
there
everything.
was no. Well, I mean, I don't know, but there was no end of credit scene aside from the mid-credit scene, right?
Correct. There's nothing at the end.
All right.
Spoiler alert.
Okay, well, I'm glad I didn't wait then.
It's funny, when we went to go see it, they yelled, like, because they probably want to clean the fucking theater, you know? So the attendant was like, there's no footage at the end.
There's no fucking scenes.
Yeah.
Daredevil doesn't show up.
All right, so we've talked enough about Avengers
I don't-
Age of Ultron, but myself, and not together, I saw it a couple days earlier, but I went to go see Mad Max Fury Road on Saturday, and then MZ and Dynamo, completely unrelated, went to the same theater at the same time, and ended up doing the popcorn trick, apparently.
Yes.
They went to also go see Mad Max Fury Road. What'd you think, MZ? I knew you were teasing it online, so
Yeah.
let's hear it.
Oh man.
No spoilers.
No spoilers, but this is the first time that I'm ever going to use this word to describe a film.
Okay.
And it'll probably be the only time I ever used this word to describe a
Luscious.
film. Close. Scrumptious.
Scrumdiddlyumptious.
Tiny and I invented that. Whoever just said scrumdiddlyumptious owes us $1.20.
You owe him a Coke.
All right, Tom C.
So what's the word?
I just told you, scrumptious.
Scrumdiddly scrumptious. Okay.
Because you just want to devour every goddamn scene, every goddamn character, every nuance of this film just was unbelievable. And it's not just the action, which is like 75-80% of the film, like literally. What director George Miller was able to accomplish here was something that it just raised the bar on post-apocalyptic action films. It's absolutely fantastic, this movie. The soundtrack was incredible. It was so great, dude. You have no idea what you're missing.
Can't wait.
And they use like heavy percussion. It was very tribal, which worked wonderfully with the ambiance of the film.
A lot of the percussion was built right into the landscape too. It was
Yes.
like not a matter of that. It was like almost like score. Like there were giant flatbed trucks full of guys with taiko drums, like chasing Mad Max around.
Yeah, using these, I guess they're called belly drums or something like that.
I think they're called taiko drums.
Taiko drum? Okay.
Tiny White does that.
And,
I can't believe you haven't fucking talked about the neon maniac on the front of that truck.
I'm getting to that. And all the performances were really, 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 really good. And of course, yes, the neon maniac that was on top of the truck going 100 miles an hour with fucking stacks behind him, and he's shredding on a fucking axe. And every now and then he's got a fucking flamethrower attached to the neck of the goddamn guitar, and he's just shredding, and the fucking flames are shooting out. I mean, and that's his only purpose. He doesn't engage in any battle, at least any that he creates for himself. He's just there as like a window dressing for the entire troop. But he's like the fucking best window dressing I've ever seen for anything. I don't know, Dynamo. Why don't you continue me?
I thought it was beautiful. I thought it looked good. I will agree with Andy Christ. I feel like the 3D kind of took away from some of the colors of the film.
Yes. Yeah, he did bring that up.
But I think that it was great. I really like Tom Hardy as Max. Not as much as I liked MG, but you know he was good. My favorite part about this movie was, I always say her name wrong, but
Charlize Theron.
Charlize Theron. Yeah,
All
Like,
I hear
thought
is that she is amazing.
she's phenomenal in it.
She
She's
is
great.
awesome in this.
Everybody is really really cool.
JT said that she was his favorite sci-fi heroine.
Yeah, since what's her name in Terminator? Linda Carter.
Hamilton.
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 Isn't her name Sarah Connor?
Hamilton. Carter.
Wonder Woman.
Hamilton
Yeah, right.
Carter.
Sorry. Yeah.
Linda Ripley Carter.
He likes her plenty too. Yeah, but I really did. I think she was phenomenal. I thought that for a film where I would say maybe 75% of it, like happens like in a truck. Like it was pretty phenomenal. The contraptions that they built for practical things in this movie were fucking brilliant. Like my favorite being a plow that goes off the front of a truck to
to
send
put the
sand up
fire
at it
out.
to put out a flat fire.
Amazing.
Like, I thought that was fucking awesome, and there was like just a ton of things, the kind of Cirque du Soleil, people on the sticks that were like coming off. It was just fucking awesome, and they had so much going on that the film felt alive, because wherever you shot from, there was something fucking phenomenal amount of eye candy. Whether it was the Incredible Horizon, whether it was, all the pirate ship style action and boarding that was going on at the same time. There was shit going on. 3 cars in the back at one point. Nathan Jones was roughing up an old lady, and if you could see over his shoulder, and shit was going on, 3 trucks in the back. Max was doing shit in the background that if you weren't looking, you wouldn't have fucking seen it.
This film was had a very organic feel to it. I
think 70 to 80% of it was like
actually there. It was not
practical effects. And stunts.
It was very little green screen was involved. The stunts were as you see them right in front, and that's great. Something tangible, something in front of you, something that you can actually touch instead of a
and
fucking
you can
computer.
fucking tell. Like that scene, like I don't know how they did it, but like if they did do something with green screen and CGI, like that fucking phenomenal scene where Tom Hardy's head is an inch away from the sand and they're fucking whipping down, he's hanging upside down, like it's forgiven because it's the reverse of what happens in most films where you're trained to look at try to figure out what's fake. Like, you're not even thinking of it. Like, you're accepting that's real.
Right.
It's amazing that nobody fucking died making this movie, I'll tell you what.
Well, Charlize Theron said that making the movie was an absolute hell.
And I'm going to tell you, I read that
I
too,
believe her.
and all I could think of is what Bruce Campbell said to me one time I met him. He was like, the good movies I've made were the worst experiences of my life. I said, give me an example. And he said, I'll give you an example in reverse. I said, what's that? He said, I had more fun shooting McHale's Navy than I ever did in my whole entire life.
That's funny.
And this is true. Like, this movie looked like it took blood, sweat, and scraped up knuckles, and you could see it on the screen. Like, they really, to steal it, one of my favorite sports and professional wrestling metaphors, like, they really left it all in the field/ring.
Well, it was filmed primarily on storyboards, right? Like, it was basically just like filmed.
Well, the storyboards were done before the script,
Right?
and so this goes back to like 2001.
2001.
This came back.
This is
2001.
long time.
He was going to do this, and then 9/11 happened.
Yeah, it was going to be Mel Gibson too.
Right, and Mel Gibson. Then they got
Then Mel
fucking
Gibson
revved up again.
happened.
And then exactly.
Yeah.
Then Mel Gibson somehow managed to like stick his head out like a fucking whack-a-mole in the midst of like Chaz Sheen madness.
Kind of ran amok.
Yeah, and he fucking ruined his career basically.
And like the desert they were going to film it in became like a lush
Right.
green
Exactly.
atmosphere.
And then Heath Ledger wanted this part.
Right.
And
And Miller wanted him too.
Right, and then he wanted him too. So then Heath Ledger obviously wasn't an issue. And I think this would have been good for him because if he went from, Dark Knight to this essentially, I think Dark Knight would have in a way damaged his career because I feel like they would have wanted him to be like that. It would have affected his career in the same way that, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest and that shitty Kubrick movie, stereotype Jack Nicholson. Like,
Shining?
yeah. Have you been on? Have you been on the show with me?
Christ.
You've already fucking tried to talk to me about Nirvana, and now you're gonna be surprised I don't like
No,
the
I'm not talking
Shining.
about Nirvana, never mind.
But like, I think that that would have been a good role choice for him because Max is crazy in a different way. Like the way it's done. Like he's very there's something about him that attracts people to want them to get help from Max. And I think that that's the thing that's carried over from all 4 films. Well, for 3 anyway.
And you know what I liked is that Miller and also accompanied some old school 3D effects as well.
Well,
Not
I jumped once at a 3D. I think it was like a steering wheel or a spare, but like I just had to look at JT and be like, I just jumped at a 3D effect. That was never...
One of the things about this film too, for me, this is old school filmmaking because you don't see this nowadays, or at least not as frequent, but every fucking detail about this movie was thought out ahead of time.
Yep.
it's so clear. Every scene, the composition, everything that's going on was like, there's so much love and effort put into this. It's insane. This goes back to like when we saw Jodorowsky's Dune, like all the thought that Jodorowsky put into those storyboards. Right. I could see George, I almost call him George Martin, George Miller.
I agree.
Putting in the same amount 100%. Of love. And that's an old school thing. You don't see that anymore.
No.
You know, it's weird that you bring up Jodorowsky because I was thinking Jodorowsky. There's a few wide pan shots. The scope is just absolutely enormous, and that just to me, I when I saw those really high angle shots with the grand scope and the landscape and the people and everything, and the first thing that shot into my head was Jodorowsky, and I'm thinking, God damn, this is a lot like Holy Mountain or
El Topo.
or even El Topo is even a better example. Just the scope of this film is just absolutely huge.
I agree. Yeah. You know what else is interesting about Martin too in the Mad Max series, other than if you look at his totally schizophrenic filmography.
You made the mistake I made too. I was thinking George Miller.
Oh, George Miller. Sorry, Frank Miller. He has been part of 3-4 now, like different film movements, right? Because Mad Max came out of the tail end of the Australian exploitation car craze, and then Road Warrior was knee deep in the quasi-budgeted like 80s action films. And Mad Max, in both its budget and kind of like the way the little more cheekiness about it, was at the end of that action phase, right? And now I think this film fits nicely into a lot of movies that we're talking about lately, where filmmakers are taking film back. They're not making action movies. They're not making horror movies. This is essentially like a big budget exploitation movie, right?
Sure.
They're making it unapologetically, but they're making it the way they would have made it when these movies were in their prime. You know, this movie wasn't made that different than Spartacus.
Yeah.
You know, like they went out and fucking did it. And what's amazing about it is this movie wasn't made that much more than, you know, that's different than Seventh Curse, you know, just maybe a little bit safer. And what's really interesting about it is I put, again, my naysayers are going to shit on me here, but I put this movie up with The Raid because Miller knew what he made. He knew where to put his like character beats and his stuff like that, but he knew that he was making a fucking action movie and didn't try to make, you know, an action movie. He didn't try to make anything else. This was an action movie. Everything else in this film was completely secondary in a vehicle for, no pun intended, for the action. And that was what I loved about the first Raid movie, that I didn't feel like he was trying to do anything different than he did. And that's what I love about fucking Drive. Like, I don't feel like Drive was affected by anything other than what it was supposed to be. You know, you hear stories about, my favorite example is I would love to see what Day of the Dead, the Raiders of the Lost Ark like script for the original Day of the Dead was supposed to be, but that got cut down by budgetary constraints. I feel like this is fitting in with a group of films that we're seeing right now. We're living through a golden age that are pretty much deliberately what these brilliant filmmakers are setting out to make, and they're putting on the screen. And Mad Max is a weird example because it's part of a franchise, but it fought its way onto like the big screen. You know, there are all these films that, like, you know, in a different time would kind of fall by the wayside, you know.
Well, and the interesting thing about this one, you know, in talking about George Miller, is this he's definitely a throwback director. I mean, look at, you know, Mad Max was, you know, he's done all the Mad Max movies, which is phenomenal.
Totally uncharacteristic of anything, like very little comparison to anything.
Yeah,
and this movie, which is just loaded with action, it just doesn't. I mean, even though he made 3 previous Mad Max films, I mean, he's seasoned in this shit. He knows what he's doing. Does not look like the kind of film that's directed by a 70-year-old man.
Not at all.
For sure. No, this is like, it's got the preparation and like the pre-production of a 70-year-old director who has that history, but it seems like it was directed by like a 30 or 40-year-old, you know.
This also has kind of the feel, this is a much better film, don't get me wrong, but of the Star Trek films, because I feel like this is what the Mad Max that was going on in Miller's head all along was.
Yeah, because he has a budget now. Mad Max, I mean, I have no idea how much the original budget was for Mad Max. It couldn't have been very much.
Well, Mad Max was like a contemporary of Razorback and Patrick.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
It wasn't like a
For sure,
an A
yeah.
picture.
So I think this is him getting to make the Mad Max movie he's always wanted to make. Granted, we had Road Warriors and we had Beyond Thunderdome, who they probably had higher budgets, but this is nothing, nothing compared to what the budget was for Fury Road. It was 150 million. And just I speaking of that, I want to throw out some figures because I was originally pretty fucking pissed when I heard that Pitch Perfect 2 had outgained Mad Max at the box office.
But it's an R-rated movie though.
It's got to be,
don't
right?
think so.
Oh, it is R. It is R.
Is it R?
So for that alone, you're right. I mean, that's kind of a win to be able to do that well. But so far to date, it's made almost 51 million. Domestically, I don't know why they'd separate them, but foreign, it's made 65 million, and combined, it's 115 million, and the budget was 150. So they're going to smash that. They're going to destroy that budget and hopefully make money in theaters, and then obviously on VOD, Blu-ray, DVD, they'll make it more money. But
A lot of that money that they made out of that, how much have they made so far?
115.
115. Out of that 115, a lot of that money has been made out of seeing it a second time, third time, fourth time, fifth time. A lot of people are seeing this movie over and over again.
Well, the other thing I want to
Two reasons. Oh, I know.
came out
I know.
Friday, yeah.
Oh, I know.
Tom
But
already
I
saw
know.
it
But I
4
got
times.
friends. I know. But I got friends who have seen it 4 times already.
We're all here.
You know,
There's
I-
something about
I've not seen it yet.
There's something about that statement that's not true, and I'm sure it's not the amount of time those people saw it.
No. I
Nope.
mean, hey, I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna take it as word. I mean, what the hell? Why not?
Well, the one other thing I
It's
want to point
believable.
out.
I'd if I had the time, I'd see it again.
The other thing I want to point out is the rating. So on Rotten Tomatoes, I'm looking right now. This is sitting pretty good at a 98% certified fresh, and that's from critics. That's critics.
Right.
Yeah.
Audience score is 92%,
Right.
and that's based on 51,000 ratings.
And if you flip over to IMDb,
Yep,
you will see that it's sitting higher than like films like say
8.8.
it's like floating right around. I think E.T. is right there.
Yeah.
A New Hope.
This has
You know?
this has an 8.8 rating based off of 70,000 reviews. So, that's pretty fucking amazing. Typically when a film comes out in theaters, it'll be high for like those first Thursday night showings, and then it'll drop down at the end of a weekend. But
Reviews?
70,000, yeah.
That seems like a lot.
This is sitting between 7 and The Usual Suspects right now as the highest ranked films of all time.
That's pretty crazy.
Slow it down, Johnny.
No, I'm just telling you, this is in the top 250 on IMDb. This is ranked 23.
The budget for the original Mad Max in Australian dollars is $350,000 to $400,000.
There you go. So,
How many Walla Bucks is that?
Walla Bucks.
And
How many koala bears?
how many Koala Bucks is that in American?
Shit, I wanted to remember what it was called. I wanted to get some more for tonight.
Koala bucks?
No, in honor of Mad Max and being so excited, I went out and got some Australian style yogurt, and it was fucking delicious.
In honor of Mad Max. So, we don't need to sell
Much
this.
better than Greek yogurt.
We don't need to sell this movie. Warner Brothers is doing a pretty good job of it.
Yeah.
It's making millions of dollars.
Word of mouth is off the chain right now.
And
Yeah,
not-
but this is fucking filmmaking at its finest. Like, this is a film that you need to. We talk about using your dollars to vote. This film doesn't necessarily need your support because it's doing well, but this is a film you should go see and support because we want to see more of this. We want to prove to the fucking bigwigs that this is the kind of movie that we want to see in theaters, not Pitch Perfect 2. Fuck that. We want to see more Fury Road. And apparently they already got the green light to work on another sequel. So
Yeah, The Wasteland.
Yep. So that's pretty fucking phenomenal. Who knows? Hopefully it doesn't take 15 years for that one to come out, but
I hope that Charlize Theron,
Charlize
the world's
Theron, yeah.
sexiest amputee, isn't it?
She's super hot.
I would not have been if you told me that she legit cut off her arm for this.
you'd believe it.
Yeah, because did you see what she did to herself to be a monster?
Yeah.
She looks like me in a fucking wig in that movie.
Yeah, it's bad times.
All right, so I think that's going to do it for our Mad Max discussion.
That's the end of it.
The one thing I do want to say, it's like a 2-hour car chase. At the end of the movie, I realized that I didn't really breathe or blink. At the end, like I couldn't focus my eyes. It was blurry, and I was like realizing that I barely even like took a breath during the entire film because it's that fucking intense for almost 2 hours. So be prepared, I guess.
I wouldn't have left it all unless I had paid for a second soda ahead of time.
Didn't you have to go to the bathroom at all, though?
No, I did because I had drank.
In your pants?
Yeah, because I carried 2 sodas in, so I had to take a huge fucking dump right around the time that they.
You're drifting from the mic.
This fucking thing. Also, I am drinking a lot too, so that couldn't help. When I got here, was filled up to the 7-Eleven. And then I filled it up to the top with something else. By the way, thank you, most amazing Andrea Willanen, filmmaker and enabler extraordinaire for the delicious black spiced rum that I am making myself pee my pants with as we speak.
It's gonna be a good show. This is exciting.
I just want to show you guys this. I have a friend. My friend Irene is now drawing for fucking Batgirl. How cool is that?
That's great.
Wow.
And she just got into the most recent trade paperback.
Please tell her that I am a subscriber to that comic and a fan. So
Cool.
yeah, I really I didn't know you knew her.
Yeah.
That's I like it a lot.
I worked with her a few years ago, so maybe we'll see if we can get her on the show
A lot
sometime.
of people hated it, but I didn't care. Like
I love it.
A lot of people like, because it was a certain way for a while.
Yeah.
And I get it. And Gail Simone is so beloved that anytime they make any sort of lateral move with her, like people get really, for good reason, right?
Yep.
Really like bent out of shape without giving the next book a chance. But I liked it.
Cool. Well, I dig it. So I'll let her know.
Get
All right.
her on the show.
Yeah, we'll work on that. We'll work on that.
I got a cool comic person that I'm waiting to hear back from. They are very, very busy, but they are excited to come back on and talk about their new project. So we're just trying to make it happen.
Yeah, I called
Make it happen.
Jack Kirby yesterday.
Yeah, what's he up to?
Not much.
This is
Jesus
this is a comic creator that I actually talked to. Like, she may not like it, but I talked to her.
All right, so let me catch up in the chat room. We've had a couple people hanging out, chatting. We got Tom C. He says, hi. And then he also says, Riff Tracks is riffing Miami Connection live in the theater soon. How about a field trip?
I don't want to see a riff track of Miami Connection.
I don't either. I honestly feel that's a bad idea.
I actually got invited to do a riff track of Miami. Not that.
But it's not
it's
that.
a style. That's like saying,
Then
why don't you
call it-
call guitar playing Led Zeppelin?
To mind with the kids in the town. Obviously, an outbreak is going on that's pre-established.
Sure.
It reminded me, like going to the movies in the 90s, there'd be that like the pre-trailer of the cancer kids and the girders. They're building the hospital,
Dana-Farber Institute.
Dana-Farber
Right.
thing. Like, imagine
that, by the way, though, it seems pretty universal, is probably a local thing.
it could be look, but do you know where I'm going? Like,
Yeah.
It's like if your
I think
child
Dana-Farber is either in Boston or Pennsylvania, that main institute. I'm not 100% sure.
Northeast,
Yeah.
I'm sure there might be some equivalent to it, but it reminded me of like if your child had some kind of death illness.
Sure.
And what Jesus Christ, obviously that's the most horrible thing a parent can go through. But imagine not only can it not be cured, but they're going to try to eat you.
Right.
And I think that's what really the heart-wrenching part of this movie was. I did not read the iZombie comic, and I apologize for not watching the iZombie TV show.
Who are you apologizing to?
To Mike Allred. Which seems
He's
to have
my best friend.
some kind of prolonged thing, but I thought that...
Well, no, she is a zombie in iZombie.
She a zombie, but she eats brains and it can kind of
Yeah, it's kind of the iZombie world is like is actually pretty close to Necronomicon. Like, those monsters are out there that people aren't, just normal folks don't know.
Okay, but I liked her in her one last campfire with her friends.
Yep.
Going through that.
There is a great book by one of my favorite authors, Jonathan Mayberry, called Zombie CVU.
Okay.
Or CSU, and it takes you from outbreak to from patient 0 to the end of it, and a lot of the different variants that could happen. What's really interesting about it is that I feel like this version of the incubation is very similar to that, and why they say it wouldn't be George Romero, because there would be some degree of control, because swine flu is one of the fastest incubating germs around, and that has an incubation time. So they said, as far as germ has been known, and even germ warfare and conventional thinking, even for something like anthrax, there is an incubation period where there is even a small window of time for control. Which in the Romero one, the conceit is that people get bit and they turn in a smaller amount of time, not sometimes longer, but.
Depending on the bite, depending on maybe where,
it seems to be
storytelling.
If the Romero one is whether or not the bite kills them, is the thing. If they can slowly die from it, but a lot of time they're getting bit in the throat and whatever else. The Walking Dead has some real quick turns, And
then that knowing that you have a certain time period, you're borrowed time. I like the fact that Arnold had his second wife.
Mm-hmm. Well, that was his sister, I think.
Yeah. No, I think it was second wife.
No, I think that was his sister.
Caroline or Coraline?
Yeah, because they sent her kids went away and stayed with their other sister.
Okay, I thought
her kids went away and stayed with somebody.
Okay,
I could be wrong, but I think that that was a sister that they were staying with, and like the little blonde boy was her kids.
Okay, you could be right.
But I could be wrong. There was something very distracting about this. Monsterzero, before we dig too much, what did you think of Maggie?
Well, first of all, I don't consider this a horror movie at all. This is a very bleak melodrama, if anything.
I think it was a comedy. I think it was a horror movie.
I don't consider this horror just because it has zombies and scant zombies at that.
There was some scary parts in this.
I did not find this scary one bit. Suspenseful, yes. Scary, no.
Is it because nobody put their mouth on anybody else's ass?
No.
Do you think there was a zombie gene?
No, but you probably did.
I did.
I find this just like what you guys said. I find this this point in Arnold Schwarzenegger's career to be very, very interesting.
Schwarzenegger.
Schwarzenegger.
That's not his name.
All right, come on.
Come on. You're fucking Monsterzero.
I have to agree with him.
I like the idea that Arnold in this film is very he's a very subdued person. He's quiet.
Would you say he's a subdude?
He's not a subdude. He is subdued though. Very quiet, very calm person. I mean, because when you think of zombies and Arnold Schwarzenegger, I mean, you're thinking like
Gets
fucking,
the chop
like fucking Duke
know.
Nukem, I mean,
Yeah.
But no, this is a very laid back, very melodramatic drama. It's I like the idea that, and this is taking a cue from, like, I would say the first 2 seasons of The Walking Dead, is that the zombies in this film are the backdrop to the film. It's about the people first and foremost. Yeah. It's not about the zombies. It's about the people.
I take umbrance with your comparison, though, because I feel like this is honors in The Walking Dead as the zombie class near the boiler room. Like, as far as actual drama and melodrama goes.
No, I think I'd be somewhere more in the middle. I like this is better than World War Z.
Different, though. Different.
Sorry. Yes, it's different. I like the fact that it seems like for the first time in a film that humans have a handle on it.
Right.
And
because
they have a
otherwise,
plan.
our closest comparison to this probably in pacing and in emotional impact, though the world was fully overrun by zombies, is the Battery.
Yeah, the Battery ran through my head too, because this is where they have somewhat substantial control over what's going on, and because otherwise, if they didn't, then they would be blowing away anybody who was bit immediately. but they got a handle on it.
I'm gonna bite you, you son of a bitch.
They're just trying to get a good handle on it. They're just trying to contain it, get a good handle on it, keep it, try not to bring it up to a chaotic effect.
But they
this
don't.
movie does that well.
I think is the most interesting part of it. Like, they have, like, while the world is not overrun, it's not indifferent than if you. It's more of the. I don't want to drop the Dallas Buyers Club because the AIDS epidemic is the background of it.
No, it's fair.
But I mean,
It's fair.
if you were old enough to remember what was going on, like I was a kid while all that was going on, but in my high school years, that was like kind of the way things were handled in the 80s was kind of a hot button question. And they sort of handled AIDS by once they kind of figured out what it was, by acting like nothing was happening. And one of my favorite scenes in this, wisdom from the mouth of babes, is when that kind of ignorant kid was like, well, what's so good about what they have going on? There's still sick people. There's still people dying. Like, there's still the potential for it. Like, they're opening up the school. Like, nothing's wrong. Johnny Wolfenstein, are you in a position where you could talk about?
I am finally.
Oh,
Did I do okay?
You did great. Thank you.
Good fucking job, Dynamo.
I might be out of a job if you can turn some knobs.
Dynamo Wolfenstein.
I don't have that, but I have my own show where I don't know how to turn my knobs.
No, but
Called Up Trick or Treat Radio from 2 a.m. to 4 a.m.
so you folks
PhoTube.
listening to the podcast won't know any difference. But we had some live issues right there. So we got them squared away, though, I think, and we are back broadcasting live. So the one thing I thought, starting out with this movie, we first hear a radio broadcast, NPR. Like, what better way to ground it in our reality than to talk about NPR, right?
Yeah, right.
Because that's something that I felt, whether you listen to it or not, you know what the fuck NPR is. It's not like it's, WAAF, which is a local thing, or something like that. This is
WNBC.
WNBC. This is WNPR. This is NPR. So I thought that was a nice little touch. There's a discussion point that I want to bring up, but I think it's going to veer off into another direction. So let me hold off on that one. Have you guys heard the term necroambulist before? That seemed to... It reminded me of have they ever referred to zombieism or the outbreak like that in another movie? It sounded really familiar to me.
It does sound familiar.
I don't think so.
Necroambulance?
What's
it does
interesting
sound
about it,
familiar.
though,
I think
is
what it-
that
Go ahead,
there's a
Dynamo,
whole
yeah.
movie, if you watch, like, you could write a book, I feel, and I'm surprised nobody has, if you just listen to what's going on in the background in the, like, newscasts of the first two Romero zombie films.
Yeah.
And though it wasn't as good of a film, the later on, the found footage one there, whose name escapes me, like, there was a lot of...
Diary of the Dead?
Yes. There was a lot of news in that. You know what I mean? And they tossed around a lot of terms because, that one, though it wasn't like this, it was completely overrun and they were kind of taking it back to the first night. So we're kind of led to believe that was happening while Dawn of the Dead was happening. I mean, Night of the Living Dead was happening. Romero was savvy enough to know that, this would be the what's going on in the Middle East and the AIDS epidemic and everything else would be, I don't want to see that ever, would be Romero's like third or fourth rodeo of the government pretending that nothing's wrong, that the way they're handling it.
Right.
And the way that, and everybody knows my government stance, so I'm not anti-government or anything like that. I guess I am. I'm kind of as maybe, I don't want to say I'm an anarchist, but I'm definitely not, I've become disenchanted with our political system. But I think one of the ways that the government tries to control us through the media is by using terms that we don't understand. And that's kind of what I took away from that. Really interesting. Like, as I'm looking it up, I'm like, man, those motherfuckers would do that to try to make it be like, well, they must know what they're talking about because they know that word.
Insurgents.
Yeah. The one that it made me think of in what reminded me of the Zombie Survival Guide, I think it was Solanum, I think is what it was referred to as. The outbreak. So it immediately, I know it's not the same word, but it immediately made me think of that for some reason. So I don't know if that's sort of a take on that. But anyways, this film is fucking dark in every way possible, right?
Yeah.
Subject
It's
matter,
bleak.
tone, music, the colors used, the sky, everything about this movie
It
is
seems like they
fucking dark.
It seems like during the it seems like the colors were saturated a little bit. To give it a very ominous feel and look to it.
Yeah, definitely. So this film for me grounded the whole sort of zombie genre, the outbreak of zombie films, if you will, in reality. This gives us the human element of how, this takes Walking Dead to another level, I think. So in a sense, I think they said, I mean, I don't know what the director was thinking, but I think he's like, let's take The Walking Dead, this sort of slow burn story, and let's take that a step further and show one person's turn, if you will. That's not really, it's not spoiling anything. If you look at the fucking poster, you can see like she's turning, and that's sort of what the film is about. But so I think it took that to 11 basically, and showed you how this impacts her life, the people around her, and things like that. So you barely get a feel for what's going on in the world because they don't really explore the world that much.
Yeah.
Ravenshadow, you got a point? You raising your hand?
It gives you a little bit of clues, like when that's fucking weird. Looks like fucking Kato Kalin and some weird religious thing. Tom C's a fucking weird guy.
Yeah.
It gave you some subtle hints when it mentioned Maggie's childhood friend / boyfriend, how he was also infected, and it mentioned his uncle worked for the what do they call it, the
quarantine?
The quarantine. And they were like, oh, you come here, we'll hold your hand, we'll like kind of like a respite care, like a
Hospice.
Yeah, not
thank you.
respite. Yeah.
Yeah, hospice care.
I just had a 5.5 hour meeting today about respite. That's a different thing.
Yeah.
Respite.
But there's like, no, what really happens is that you go there, you're thrown in like this giant warehouse and everyone eats each other. So there were subtle
Well, I'm not
clues.
sure that that's what happens.
What's what they said? They said that they would eat each other.
Well, no, what happens? What it is, it's a euthanasia station because
I'm not sure what's happening in Japan.
Because Vern,
Shut up.
because Vern, Vern was telling, I can't remember his name, and it doesn't matter. He's
Hey, Vern.
This is a great performance. He's Arnold Schwarzenegger. He was telling Schwarzenegger that
His name was Wade.
this is
Wade
what they
Vogel.
give
The
the people in the thing, and it's basically a cocktail that kills them.
right. It was
But he said it hurts.
Right.
Yeah, and it hurts until the moment they die.
so the best way is a bullet to the head.
Yeah, I don't know if this is Johnny's point or not, but I feel like this film will unfortunately resonate with anyone who's taking care of someone who's sick.
Oh, absolutely.
Because,
Yeah.
I feel
That
like,
wasn't my point, but
yeah,
it's a good
I feel
point.
like the zombie metaphor is perfect for. I don't want to make anybody feel bad, and I know people I love listen to this film, but I'm gonna say it like I helped take care of somebody who wasn't dying, but was sick, and you end up. I would do it again in a second, so I'm not complaining. But I put my musical career on hold, and I put my real life job. I mean, the job I have now was waiting for me 3 years ago, and everything came out on the other end. But there are people who are sick with terminal illness, and you die along with them because what happens is that you end up.
Yep.
You end up becoming solely encompassed with their sickness, the doctor's appointments, the things that you're supposed to do, the rules that come with, you know what I mean? Like the options, exactly. The traditional care in how people who don't know your particular situation, like, oh, well, I know somebody who was sick and they died, but they unfortunately, for the most part, the second time around, foregone all the typical traditional sicknesses. It's not a secret. It's my dear friend Rod, who I lost a few years ago, and he didn't tell anybody that he was sick because he didn't want to live like that. He didn't want to live sick to get better. He tried to find other ways, and the demon that is cancer beat him. While my mom was sick, she was only sick for a short amount of time, but that's what I did while my mom was sick. Was I took care of my mom. I lived in that hospital. And you are not sick. You come out the other end, I guess, with a minus whatever sacrifices you had, fine, right? But the zombie, the metaphor is perfect because I was lucky because not every job is going to let you come back after 2 years, of not doing it and save your spot. So basically what happens is this zombie situation is a perfect metaphor for what happens when you're taking care of somebody who's sick because it hurts you too. And it hurts you in more than an emotional way. It can fuck up your life. Now, if you put it on the table like that, like a slab of meat like that, cold and frank and bloody, it's a little heavy-handed. Because most people don't die because they live with somebody who's sick. But it's a decent metaphor that him in doing this is putting his own life and existence in danger. I feel like it's a brilliant metaphor.
And the danger down to how they're going to stop eating.
Right.
They're going to spell.
Sure.
They're
Everyone
gonna smell
knows.
your flesh.
But you're
and
looking
meat.
for. He had a miracle happen because another side effect of this plague is like the vegetation is dying and it's affecting the animals to a certain degree.
Yeah.
And he managed to make daisies grow. So he was kind of holding on to that from like he felt like he had the hot hand miracle wise.
Mm-hmm.
And he kind of thought there's a possibility that maybe she would stay well enough, long enough. Like if I kill her today or I send her to the quarantine today and they have a cure tomorrow.
Right.
And I know that even the most jaded people, even the most science-ridden people, even the other love of my life who is a doctor, who all went through that, this has crossed their mind.
Give me one
that
more day.
maybe maybe they'll have something tomorrow.
Yeah.
Especially, I think, I don't mean to trivialize this, but especially because it's his daughter. If it was somebody who is older, maybe you'd be more accepting of it. And I'm not to say that
you're
you wouldn't.
100% right.
Yeah,
No, that's-
not that you wouldn't care as much for an older, like a parent or grandparent or something like that. But she's got her whole life ahead of her still.
I will back you up by saying a very frank thing. I loved my mother dearly, but she was a 55-year-old woman that had smoked religiously her whole life.
Yeah.
She kind of reaped what she sown. You know what I mean? While when my special lady friend was sick, she wasn't sick with any sort of fatal disease or whatever. This was much more impactful because this was a brilliant, vibrant woman with her whole entire life ahead of her. So, it does mean something. You know what I mean? Like you're 100% right because it's sad to say, but that's a funny thing too because I was thinking just today that the age that my father is now is the age that my grandmother got sick the first time. And my grandmother at 61 years old was old, right? Like just the way medicine was and the way that generation came up. Like in my head, I was wondering if my 60-year-old grandmother had got cancer today, would they have had a way to fight it? And it's all what I think it comes down to, Wolfie, in a strange roundabout way. It's all coping mechanisms. You hook on to whatever you need to feel better. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, well, she's had a really good life.
Yeah, exactly.
Like it's just coping mechanisms. It doesn't make them any less sick or uncomfortable or whatever else, but it's terrible. Like my friend Rod was the age that I am right now when he passed away. And he wasn't old. That dude would drive hundreds of miles with me to see Ring of Honor shows and hundreds of miles to see Tori Amos shows with my special lady friend. And I think that, and when you come to every Deadite show, and I think that that dude had a lot of life to live,
Yeah.
and that hurt me a lot, It's because of that. That was impactful. He wasn't sick. And I hate to bring up the very obvious one, but the whole city lost Scott Retrudy. And though he was older than us, like I don't know a single person that didn't feel like that guy had 10 more great albums in him, and a bunch else. Now, if Scott Retrudy was unfortunately 75, maybe we would have looked at it differently. It's all coping mechanisms. It's what makes people feel better. When this fucking idiot at 40 is on a fucking machine and can't breathe because of his bad choices, we're going to feel bad because he's 40 and he has his whole fucking life ahead of him. You know, so it's totally true. It's totally a thing. And the fact that, you know, like I missed up at those every time those fucking Dana-Farber ads come on, because those are little kids. You know, I think about my nieces and nephews, and you really hit a nail on the head for me, Wolfie, that like no one is immune to some of these illnesses that are floating around out there, and the way that some of these germs and everything else are changing. And I feel like when I watch this, that's going to be my niece. You know, that could be my niece. You know, she's 10 years, or she's like 10 years older than my niece.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you know, it just really. I thought of all these things while we watched it, you know, and that was something that I thought was great about this film, and I thought was almost parodic when they showed the NPR thing, because this was definitely the NPR version of a zombie movie, because of how thoughtful it was. I felt like there was a strange thoughtfulness to this film.
Mm-hmm. And there definitely, this was, I think it was supposed to ground it in reality, and I think it wanted you to latch on to some aspect of it. We all know someone who's been sick. We unfortunately, probably all of us know someone who has died. Well, like, and seeing Maggie and seeing potentially her last days play out before us, you know, and seeing how her dad, Wade, Arnold in this case, you know, was going through the range of emotions and how it was affecting him and what he wanted to do. And, you know, in the scenes with the cops when they come around, hey, Wade, you know, we got to quarantine her soon, you know, we're going to come back. And everyone kind of feels for him and is like, all right, well, next time we come back, we got to take her, you know, like giving it like every last possible second. You know, because they know they've either been through this, they have children, they have, you know, a loved one, so everyone can relate, and that's
totally.
That's why I think this was so powerful. This movie was, and there was some really intense scenes. I love the scene when Arnold confronts. It was, I think, Nathan and I can't remember the girl's name, the little girl.
Oh my god!
Like that
might have been one of the best zombies ever.
Oh,
You're right. That to me was one of the most powerful zombie scenes in a movie ever. Because you didn't know the characters at all. Later on, we learn a little bit more about them. But the way that I think Arnold acted that scene and what he had to do was like heart-wrenching, you know?
Yeah,
so
it's tough.
That was a really, really tough scene.
And I feel like using Arnold, whether it was by intent or by accident, was brilliant shorthand, because everybody loves fucking Arnold, right?
Whoa, like, everyone loves fucking him?
Well, his servants did. But everybody loves Arnold. Like, you know, like, even if you don't agree with his politics, like,
you can relate.
Yeah, you love him. And there was a generation just slightly younger than us, maybe you and maybe you two, slightly younger than me and Monsterzero anyway, that like grew up probably thinking Arnold Schwarzenegger would have been the best dad in the world. You know, so like, you know, you see these scenes and in your head without,
or the most biggest protector.
Yeah, while you're thinking of it, you know, you're like, you know, I don't want, you know, you hear these cops, you know, inner monologue, and even though it's not really there, you hear them saying like, I don't want to take the governor's dad or the kid, or, you know, like, yeah, come on, he was the fucking Terminator, you know, like, and it wasn't really that, but like the way it worked, like, was brilliant kind of subliminal shorthand.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't even like sad sack Arnold. It was human Arnold.
Well, he showed some range in this. Like that one scene when he went to Nathan's house, the zombie and the child that he encountered, when he went to their house later on, that scene, he didn't say anything. It was just him going through their house, and like, you know, he just shed that single tear.
Yeah.
Like that was pretty powerful, you know.
And you know what else? You know what else? As far as the overall tone of this film, and I gotta say, I genuinely got a giggle out of it. No.
When the fucking kid
when
died,
they're dying.
That was fun.
You know, it's about halfway through the film, and you know, everything is just going to hell, and Maggie is obviously dying, and Wade is trying to cope, and all this other stuff, and they start. It was the scene at the dinner table where Arnold said he couldn't eat the stuff, and Maggie's like, and the woman's like, yeah, they're just joking around.
That was pretty great,
and she's, you know, and they're having a good joke. You know, it's a stay of execution of not eating her cooking, and you know, Maggie's laughing it up. Wade is laughing it up, and honestly, I giggled
Yeah.
a bit too because I was like being personal with these people. It's like this is, it's like you've all said, we all know somebody like Wade, we all know somebody like Maggie, and we all know them being, having the kind of life that they're living with right now, and to have that little bit of frivolity and humor and fun, and it just lightened
It was
the mood
it was a
little
nice
bit.
moment of
Yeah.
levity.
You needed
Yeah,
that.
and I feel like too, I'll fight anybody who criticizes Arnold's acting in this, because you could have been, once the scene that Wolfie just talked about, you could have been taken out of this movie in an instance by the typecasting of Arnold. But a lesser performance by Arnold in a lesser directing turn, the fact that he was upset about killing 2 people after a decade of cinematic massacre, wouldn't
Or
it wouldn't
3
have,
decades.
just wouldn't have worked.
And that's
You know?
the thing, like, I mean, am I wrong in saying this could be his best acting performance?
It could be.
ever?
As far as acting goes, yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
He doesn't. I think he's a decent actor. He typically doesn't have the opportunity to flex those acting muscles, if you will.
And when he
He's got
does,
other
it's
muscles
for
to
like
do.
comedic, like this film is all looked at sillily, but like he had some emotional range in some of his mid films when before he fully the transition from Commando to Jingle All the Way. If you look at films like Kindergarten Cop and stuff like that, he looked like he could have done more. But in the same way we were talking about great directors that ended up being pigeonholed as horror directors, like, no, this is a way better acting job than even I thought he was going to be. I thought he was our generation's Chaz Heston. So like.
I had a hard time. At first, I got to admit, I did have. I was a little bit put off by the fact that Arnold, with his very thick Austrian accent, and here he is. He's playing a
Kansas City.
a Kansas farmer.
But you don't know if he's from there.
Yeah.
No, I know, but given
the war.
Given the
Check his closet.
But given the current presence that we have with him right there, right now, just the idea of him playing a Midwestern farmer, it threw me off just a little bit. But in the end, it doesn't matter at all.
I mean, he's an American
it's just
politician. Like he's been an American as long as you've been alive.
It's true.
Yeah, and to be fair, his oldest daughter from a previous marriage is 17, 18. If he's 70, he clearly could have gotten here in his 30s.
Right, and
character.
Yeah, and he may not have even. I mean, I don't know. Like I see where you're saying, and it's amazing. He didn't speak English, and so, and if you listen to his accent in Conan era films, and you listen to his accent now, he's kind of come a long way. He's practically. He was practically a Kennedy, but so like. I think that I don't even think that was one of those things where they just kind of expected us to ignore it. Like,
that's a tough one to ignore, man.
But here's the thing,
the story is so powerful that you overlook that.
People immigrated here at that age. Like he's like a little bit younger. He's our parents' age, and my parents. I know your family was mostly from here, but my parents' Monsterzero. Like, my grandmother had an accent.
Yeah,
Both my grandmothers had
my
accents.
great-grandparents came from the boot.
And my great-grandparents didn't speak English. Like, so that's just like not in a Michael Ravenshadow sort of way, but like you're taking that into account as a weird sort of like, because in your life, like everybody that you encountered talked to like you.
Park the car.
Right. But like the reality is that he very well, if you took his real story and made a farmer, not an actor, he very well could have come to the Midwest in 1978 and been a farmer.
It's not that much of a stretch. The last thing I want to mention about that scene where he encounters the 2 zombies, the Nathan and the kid, I actually felt bad for the zombies. And that doesn't happen very often for me in zombie movies. Can you guys think of any instances in zombie films where you felt bad for the zombies?
I felt bad when it was Ken Faree, when Ken Faree had to shoot
Oh yeah.
What's his name in Dawn of the Dead? But
There's
that's the only one that
there's a
comes to
lot of sad sex zombies in Dawn of the
Dawn,
Dead,
yeah,
actually.
for sure. Okay,
In
you
Dawn, I mean, like, not to quite, call an ire, but when in episode 1 of Walking Dead, when Rick shot the girl or the walker, that
crawler
was,
one,
yeah,
with
he's
the
like,
bike.
he's like, I'm sorry. Like,
Or
I felt bad
sorry
for the
this happened to
girl.
you. The
For the little girl in the
like,
first episode.
You know who I felt bad for was Merle in The Walking Dead when he turned.
Yeah, but that's different
He
because you
screwed
got
the
to know
pooch.
him though. That's
Yeah,
different.
you have a
This
If he had,
we have
if he
never
had told
seen.
the guys the fucking plan, it would have worked out.
All right, we don't need to talk about that. But
Sorry.
what I'm saying is, we saw these zombies. We didn't know anything about them previously, and I felt bad for them. And I think that's pretty rare, and that I think that speaks to the tone of this film. The
Well, it's because
casting.
they made it that they were sick. They didn't make it so that they
Sure.
died and turned into like
Right.
they didn't treat it in the same way that 90% of zombie films.
But that's just a little tweak. That's like
right.
turning the knob a little
sure.
bit this way.
And
But it makes
sometimes
it
that's all.
different though,
Sometimes
right?
that's all
Yeah.
it takes because
it's
you know,
it's a matter
90%
of perspective.
right. 90% of the zombie films
Yeah.
that are out there,
It's Earth 1 or Earth 2.
The zombies could be a flood or werewolves. Like it's almost incidental that they're zombies because the films are about the people trying to survive. Like what is messed up their day-to-day life, you know?
Well, okay, so we need to start.
Shaun of the Dead actually has a couple of sad. Shaun, when he shot his mother, is as furious as I am at him right now.
We also knew her though.
Right.
So
exactly.
that's one of the things I'm trying to think of.
Yeah.
We need to wrap this up soon, but there's one thing I really wanted to talk about, and I thought it was actually going to dominate most of the review. Why is this film on VOD? Why is an Arnold film not in theaters?
Because
Last Stand.
Mad
and-
Max which is one of the best films that we've seen in a long time, got beaten by Pitch Perfect. And Mad Max probably took up a few theaters. In Avengers, I bet you didn't give up that many theaters. And then Pitch Perfect. You know, it's hard to put movies out now. You know, it's just fucking hard. Like it's impossible. This film is out in limited release.
Very limited. It's
yeah.
playing in a drive-in
Right.
in Massachusetts, like not too far from us, and I think that's the only place it's playing within driving distance.
It's just hard. Like the argument about superhero movies and big budget movies, I think everybody's fighting the wrong fight. I think that they're just taking up too many theaters. Like I don't think that they're bad movies or making people dumb or anything like that. I think it's just making it harder to put out movies.
But why not hold off a little bit or release it early?
Yeah, you could be
or-
right. There's definitely bad. I mean, this could have hit more theaters if it came out in January.
January, February,
or wait
you know
till
what I mean?
like
Like-
Halloween time.
Yeah.
Well, Halloween's a fucking clusterfuck too because there's already 3 Blumhouse films on the docket to come out in Halloween.
Right.
But what's coming out in March?
Match?
You know what I'm saying? Ides of March.
Whatever Sony is putting up to go against Marvel films.
I mean, you can't put
X-Men came out in March, didn't it?
Maybe.
I don't know, but to me,
You
it's,
have a brilliant point. though.
it speaks to, I think, the landscape of film nowadays, and that's pretty much what you said, Dynamo. Is that an Arnold like all right, maybe more than 10 years ago. Let's think of the late 90s when he was starting to wrap up, got ready to run for governor. Can you even imagine back then a film like in that case it would be straight to DVD like back in those times? Can you even imagine that happening for an Arnold film?
Well, they lost a lot of money on that movie that we reviewed on the Cult of Muscle there. What's that, End of Days?
End of Days, yeah.
That was a bad flick.
That was a fine flick, but it just no one gave a fuck anymore.
What was
Yeah,
that
it was-
movie with Arnold and Sly? It was their first team up, right?
The
Lock Up or
Lock Up.
or Locked Up or something?
Yeah, that I saw that
It
trailer
did-
at the movies.
It did nothing.
Right. I mean, he's not an entity like that anymore. And when you become, it's gonna, and it's why I think The Rock is making some really smart career choices right now. He's about to have a HBO
That was Escape
show.
Plan.
Arnold became a parody. So by the end of his run, was kind of a joke, no matter what he did.
But imagine
know?
if this was his first joint back from being the governor. Like, this is some fucking real shit.
Well, so
in my opinion, this is a Mickey Rourke, the wrestler type shit.
let me just call this out real quick.
Oh yeah, that's a nice comparison.
So, Escape Plan was the film starring Stallone and Schwarzenegger, Budget was 50 million. Box office it did 137 million. That's not bad. Honestly, I thought it did a lot worse than that. But in this day and age, if that movie can't really get off the ground in theaters and do big money, I think that speaks to the fact that the action star, isn't what it was, and our boys over at Cult of Muscle are keeping the flag flying high for the classic stars.
Well, here's what's funny about that too. If you go through Netflix right now, there are 3. All right, so here is one level of it. Right, there are 3 or 4 Jason Statham films on there that didn't come out in theaters or had very, very limited release, or at most were failures. Okay. There are 2 Bruce Willis movies on there right now that didn't come out in theaters. If you had talked to me when Die Hard 2 came out and told me that Bruce Willis got Hudson Hawk out in theaters. Hudson Hawk would have been on demand today.
That's my joint.
Actually, here, let me just clarify. So Escape Plan did do 137 million worldwide. Guess how much of that was domestic? In the States, 25 million.
I was saying about 50. But
That's all it did. 25 million.
So all overseas.
No, it did 137 in worldwide, but just domestic 25 mil. That's it. And for those guys, for those 2 guys nowadays to team up, their first team up in a film, that's a flop. If you consider the budget and what it made worldwide, it definitely made money. But in this country,
see if it was done. Wait, hold on. Now see if it was done, say 20 years earlier, when these 2 are both in their prime.
Huge money.
It would have been
the biggest thing ever.
Not only would the
they're
budget
both
be
pissed about the money on the table.
The budget would have been better.
That's
and
funny
and
that
the
you say
take
that
would have
though.
been better.
Though you have to put this in perspective. Schwarzenegger made Terminator. Right? And then Terminator 2. But none of his films, I would say the next big budget movie he made was Total Recall. And that was a movie that was floating around in the system for a long time and just incidentally took a lot of money. But that wasn't he never made Star Wars money films. He was, those things were a very important cycle, but they were definitely analogous, saying that wrong, but they were definitely similar to the slasher things. They were made on the cheapish. Commando, not Red Dawn. Those weren't big budget films. They were bigger budget films than American Ninja, but they weren't big budget films. It was like the Jason movies. Everybody thinks Jason is a household name. So everybody thinks that those were big budget films, but those movies were made on the cheap. Terminator, was one of James Cameron's second movie or something like that, and it was made not very expensively.
So I'm just looking at this right here, and it's kind of I really don't like how box office is, when you I'm looking at Box Office Mojo right now. It lists Schwarzenegger's films by domestic gross only. So that's just in the U.S. Why doesn't it fucking count the rest of the world? I don't get it. But anyways, his number one domestic grossing.
I know why, Wolfie, I think.
Okay.
Because now, if Avengers comes out, right, the same company that's distributing that in America is distributing it all over the world.
Yeah.
And if a film comes out in Warner Brothers, the same company that's distributing that now is distributing that all over the world. A thing like Canon or TriStar or New Line, part of the way that they made their budget to make the next picture was that they would pre-sale the international gross. So that's somebody else's money. And in some cases, there were 4 or 5 international distributors. So I think that it's hard to get a real
and I understand
a real take on, or it's hard to because all those people are hiding money as much as everybody is. So I think it's just hard to get at that time. How much it made.
I get it, because you have to typically recut it in some instances. Some stuff doesn't go over in China. You can't have blood or bones or whatever. There's certain things you can't have over in China, so it may need to be recut.
Penises are okay.
That's Japanese.
That's Japan. And then in that case, sometimes you have to overdub it, things like that. So I get it, but still, I just want to know how much a fucking movie made,
Yeah.
But anyways, his number one grossing film, if you go just domestic, was Terminator 2: Judgment Day.
Yeah, that was
not
a fucking
surprising.
phenomenon.
But number 2 was Terminator 3: Rise of the Machines.
Really?
which is surprising.
Yeah, but that was. I bet you that shitty Batman movie was one of George Clooney's biggest movies. Like,
Well,
that was like
you
the-
you
But
also have to consider that
inflated ticket
Yes.
prices.
you also have to consider inflation and also more
More
theaters.
screens.
Yeah, more screens.
Yep.
So, but
Remember waiting in line? to
Total
see a movie?
Recall was number 4 for him at 119 million. So, anyways, we don't need to get into a big discussion about that. We probably got a little bit further, but I'm just surprised, and it just speaks to the landscape of the way film is now. That a film like Maggie gets dropped.
They
on
should have
VOD.
put this out in January though, because we would have been able to go see it in the theater. Like we saw
Yep.
it. Like, I mean, if they put out, Jesus Christ, Lords of Salem when they were originally going to put it out,
Mhm.
it would have gone direct to DVD or Netflix. We never would have saw it. But the
Yeah,
fact
yeah.
that it got pushed up to January is why we were able to.
Well,
see it in
January is the
theaters.
graveyard, right?
Yeah.
So,
Well, what's funny is it is the graveyard, but people are thinking of it as like now people are aiming for it because
sure.
things like Paranormal Activity, the Lost Ones, like made bank coming out at that.
Yeah, it's
time.
cold. I want to see a movie.
So I think I pretty much got most of my points across. Do you guys want to do a spoiler on this, or should we just avoid spoilers today?
Maybe I could keep talking about it, but maybe
Yeah,
we
let's
should.
skip spoiler unless someone has
yeah.
a. Does anyone really want spoiler?
I don't want to spoil
right.
it. No, that's
All
probably
right.
not a trick.
Yeah, we don't really need to. This is a brand new film. It's on VOD. So let's go right to the verdict. What do you guys say?
Great.
Q Buster.
Trick or treat, baby.
I wonder if people would say you're a trick or a treat.
Trick or treat, motherfucker.
All right, it is time for the verdict. And this is when we tell you if this film is a trick or a treat. Muggle Ravenshadow, a treat is
A good one.
yes,
That's the good one.
the good one.
And
Trick
is the other one.
is bad. Trick bad. So
Trick
let's
Davis.
and then if you have any final thoughts, let's go around the room. Michael Ravenshadow.
Yes. Listen, we all know if you're between the ages of 20 to 45, stop fucking showing me your phone, asshole. Arnold can do action. We've actually know that Arnold can do comedy. But what this movie did was the dude can do some fucking drama.
Drama for your mama.
Yeah, and even there's a scene, no spoiler, but when he had the axe and the cops, any other movie, he would have hacked both cops and cut the squad car in half. You know what I mean? But
Yeah,
he
yeah.
was resolved, the dude brought
Now
it.
that's a fucking movie.
Yeah, it's a very exciting movie, Maggie. I fucking killed the cops.
I
Wow.
kill cops. I kill zombies.
It's very exciting.
My name at one point, they say that you can't do that, Marshal, and I say I'm committing martial law.
Your Arnold isn't too bad. It's gotten better in your old age.
I've been working on it because
Apparently.
Here's what you don't know when I'm not here. So I leave Trick or Treat Radio. I get on a plane. I fly to the left coast and sing CDR to sleep every night with my Arnold impersonation.
Happy birthday to Lou.
Go to sleep, little Canadian. Dream of your gravy.
But yo, the dude fucking brought it. I liked his flannel. That was nice. Yo, treat. See this fucking movie.
All right.
See Avengers, and then see this on VOD.
Why don't
And
you go
then-
see Mad Max
And
first?
then go see Mad Max.
All right, MZ.
Yeah, I thought the the human side of the zombie tale was really brought forth into this movie. It was very true. It was very honest. It was very real, very organic.
Orgasmic.
Although I gotta say, it's good.
I'm drunk. That's all I gotta say.
I thought, even though this is Arnold's really first foray into drama, for a first time he didn't do too bad. He wasn't outstanding. He didn't sell me big time, but he was decent. Shut up. But he was decent. He was decent enough to make the movie work. And Abigail Breslin, I thought, was really good. Nobody's ever even talked about her yet. I thought, she had a, you wanted to pity her, but at the same time,
Zaya!
you knew she's trying to stay strong, not only for her but also for her father, and also for her younger brother as well, who got yeah. But overall, the film I still feel is a drama, more of a drama than a horror. I still feel, despite what other people say, I feel that in this, as far as zombie movies go, they kept it under control. The characters, they kept it they kept it under control. The zombie infestation is what I'm talking about. But a good movie, a good solid movie, and a bit of a tearjerker. Although I didn't cry, but still,
because you have no heart.
I have no heart. That's because I have no soul.
All right.
And because of that, yes, it is a treat for me.
All right, Dynamo.
I'm drunk. It's been a long time. It's been like 6 months. But I am drunk. Holy cow, it feels nice.
Pass that around.
Yeah.
This is going to be like I watched a Paul Williams speech the other day, and he's talking about I didn't drink for so long, and then I thought I could have one drink. And that's how I feel right now. I'm going to fucking polish off that bottle of rum.
Thank you,
drunk.
Andrea.
Is there a bottle in the back?
Yeah, thanks, and everybody who's going to hate the second part of the show, thank Andrea.
All right. So what was the film?
What did we watch?
Avengers.
Avengers.
Mad Maggie.
Mad Maggie.
I see a title.
Mad Maggie for your...
Monsterzero brought up a good point.
Really?
Yeah, not that we didn't mention Miss Breslin, who I think I love her and everything. I've watched some really cruddy films that she's in that I adore her in.
She was in Little Miss Sunshine. She was in...
Oh,
Yep.
she
was in Signs.
Signs.
Yeah.
She was a little girl in Signs. She
in
killed
Signs.
fucking aliens with her water.
She was
old
just
is
in
she?
she was just in a middling ghost movie that I liked a lot.
She's 19.
There you go.
Kind of
Yeah,
like the
she's-
Sixth Sense on crack.
She is cute. She
Play
is
ball.
cute now.
I also really enjoyed in this Jolie Richardson, who is probably, I won't say who she is, but plays a pretty understated but big important part of the girl with the dragon tattoo. And I think she does a tremendous job in this.
What's the friend?
No, Jolie Richardson is the sister or wife. We're not 100% sure of what the relationship is there.
Oh yeah. Oh Snoop.
But
This
in the
fucking movie's fucking.
Yeah, and
oh
the
my
girl
God.
and the girl with the dragon tattoo, she played the sister who didn't want to talk to anybody.
The American version.
Yes.
All right, let's get through this. We're way late.
No, there's a lot of fucking content.
I know there is.
But yeah, I love everybody who knows me knows I fucking love Arnold. I love him. I would watch him do just about anything. I'd watch him do comedy. I'd watch him do bad drama.
Watch him do humps.
I tried to get I lost, believe you me, through the Deadites black market. I tried to get video of him banging a Kennedy. Tried to get video of him banging his maid. But I'd watch Arnold do anything. I'd watch Arnold's Austrian ass bounce up and down. Harder.
Do it, Hunter.
I'm gonna shoot it in you. It'll look like your uncle's tape. I'm gonna shoot it into your grassy knoll.
Oh my
shit.
my buddy comic book Steve is watching the show.
I'm sorry, Steve.
Oh, CBS.
Look at comic book Steve.
Oh shit.
He's got the fucking Infinity
Got his
Gauntlet.
hands up with the
Watching the
Infinity
show.
Gauntlet.
I used to call
But,
him Spider Steve.
So I might have. I've heard you mention Spider Steve. I may have liked this movie anyway. So I feel like my review of this almost isn't going to count because people are going to say he fucking loves Arnold and he's gave good reviews to some shitty Arnold films. But believe you me, ladies and gentlemen, Arnold really shows a different side of him. And the director is smart enough to use his imposing presence as a very smart shorthand. And I'm glad I got to go first because I don't have anything intelligent to say about this movie at this point. But I feel like I give Maggie highest recommendations. It's a treat. And
Speaking of director, this is his directorial debut.
Yeah.
He directed a trailer for a video game and a segment of the Academy Awards, and then this film. So pretty crazy, right?
what segment of the Academy Awards did he?
I don't know. Just it doesn't say.
Good for him.
It just says TV special. That's all it says. So yeah, so I mean that's pretty impressive as well. He directed a lot of opening credit and closing credit sequences,
Interesting.
which is as you know
He
nowadays.
did the
it's-
opening credit sequence to my sex tape.
Jesus.
It's called Pumping Arnold.
All right, Dynamo. What was the verdict?
I said treat.
Okay.
It's a treat, not a trick.
So for me, this film, I think very highly of this film. However, I think about midway through, it started to get a little too melodramatic for me. Not slow, almost like it tried too hard to pull the heartstrings. I'm not saying it's necessarily it's taking away points from the film. Just for me, it just was like, okay, I'm seeing a lot of this stuff going on with the friends and I'm not saying they should have cut some of that out, but I think they tried a little too hard to pull those heartstrings.
Arnold was gone for a while.
Yes, they should have had him on screen more. I agree.
Yeah.
So, but despite that, this definitely takes the zombie film in a slightly different manner. It takes it in a different direction, and I think for that, this definitely should earn marks because we've seen zombie films ad nauseum at this point. It's kind of like we're kind of sick of them, and when you see a new like you were saying, IMZDB, right? Or IMZDB, what was that? IZDB?
Internet Zombie Database.
Yeah, IZDB.
Bite your tongue.
So there's an IZDB just to catalog zombie films.
I would watch zombie movies all day long.
But I think this film is definitely worth a watch. I think it does some different stuff, and it brings something new to the table for the zombie subgenre. The zombie
Mecca high.
the zombie subgenre.
Mecca like a high, make a hiney ho.
So, and the fact that this is on VOD still kind of confounds me, but definitely go check this out on VOD. It's an interesting watch. Definitely get the tissues ready. Not the way you think, Michael Ravenshadow, but it may tug on the heartstrings.
Can I
a
ask
little
you guys
bit.
an ethical question real quick?
So wait, treat.
Sorry. A girl I had a crush on in high school that never really even talked to me in real life.
Did she walk home alone at night?
No, just invited me to play Candy Crush Saga. I don't play any of those games, but if I,
You did?
yeah, am I a poser if I just stop playing them to?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
What if you ask her to take her
I've been
top
playing
off?
for a half hour.
Show us.
Look at the gif that Tom C posted.
I've been playing with a half hour, but
If you give
All
us
right.
a middle finger.
All right, we need to wrap up this because we got to talk about the new Faith No More album. And MZ, you got to take off?
Yes, I do.
Okay, before you take
shit,
off,
dude.
Fuck off.
next week, since last week went so well, reviewing Der Samurai from
don't tell him.
from Art Exploitation. Don't tell him what.
No, because at least one person at this table is full of shit with their review. I have it on good
What?
authority.
Of their samurai?
Yeah.
I'll
didn't
tell you
like
about
it?
that.
Yeah?
Here's the thing. I watched their samurai.
And you didn't like it?
No. I started watching it for the first 15 minutes on Monday.
And you fucking fell asleep.
And no, I hated it and I was
Passed out.
drunk.
I was getting warnings all
I-
week of like, you're going to beat up Michael Ravenshadow at this show.
No, and then I took a call from Bobby Chains. I talked to him for like an hour and a half. I watched Der Samurai
While
sober
you were talking to him.
the following day.
At a reasonable
and
time.
At 6 to 8 o'clock.
Yep.
And that's how I was able to absorb the content.
Instead of the alcohol.
Right.
All right. Well, since the review went so well and our exploitation didn't pull, they didn't like get us taken off the internet. They actually sent us another advanced copy of one of their films. So we're going
very
to
good.
stream from a very secret location. We're going to stream the film Horsehead.
Oh,
Look it up. This movie is going to probably blow your fucking mind. The trailer blew my mind. MZ, you saw the trailer for Horsehead, right?
that I did.
What do you think? What do you think it's going to be?
It blew my mind. I can't wait.
So I believe, I'll get the info for next week for sure, but I believe that Horsehead is going to be, actually I got it right here. It's going to be available on June 23rd. You can start pre-ordering on May 26th. And go check out the trailer, folks. Go to YouTube or just do a Bing search for Horsehead trailer. And this is definitely an ode to European filmmakers such as Dario Argento
European.
and Mario Bava. I think would be the two that this
Is
evokes.
this like a piss porn?
No,
European video.
no, it's a horse head.
I'm doing the rest of the show as Arnold.
Great. So go do some research. Check out the trailer for Horsehead, and you can join us next week. We're going to review that shit because it looks pretty fucking
Are
cool.
you telling me to watch Horsehead?
Yes.
The horse head.
I'm going to say nay.
Shut up, idiot.
I'm worried this is too complex and Michael Ravenshadow will not be able to get a saddle on it.
So we're going to go ahead and watch Horsehead next week. Go ahead, check out the trailer.
sorry, I
and
will rein
join
it
us on episode 148 for Horsehead review.
Well,
What?
boar's head.
What? No,
that
we're not.
what
We're gonna eat boar's
boar's
head
head?
meat. We're gonna eat some boar's head sandwiches while we review Horsehead
Where did Boss Hogg have his base?
somewhere. MZ, why don't you say goodbye to the folks?
Well, I'll be at the
Oh, you gonna be there?
I'm gonna be there tomorrow night.
Let's go fuck yourself.
Get there early because he's gonna leave at 8:30 p.m.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the geriatrics got to go home early.
Dynamo, what time's the show start? By the way,
Tomorrow.
or Arnold,
Hold on.
Dynamo Arnold,
I will ask my sexy-legged partner.
Dynamo Schwarzenegger.
Hold on, I have a flyer.
All right, well,
Yeah,
MZ,
I'm
say
gonna stick.
goodbye.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
stick
I'll
around.
tell
I'm
you.
gonna stick around a lot. As long as I can. Anyway.
I'll tell you
No, you gotta go.
tomorrow. What time to go?
Oh, Tom C says, "Love you, MZ."
I love you too, Tom.
Love you too. All right, arrivederci, douchebags.
Let's not stick it.
Hopefully.
One dark and stormy night in the mid-80s, Joe Bob Briggs, Harlan Ellison, and the ghost of El Santo pulled a train on Elvira while Siskel and Ebert sobbingly masturbated in the corner. From that union arose the greatest movie critic and luchador that ever lived. But we're not going to talk about him. He's kind of a dick. Instead, we're going to talk about me, El Goro, the stuttering movie fan and host of the Talk Without Rhythm podcast. Every week on Talk Without Rhythm, I discuss 2 to 3 movies tangentially tied together by a theme. I cover action,
I'm the most complete fighter in the world.
sci-fi,
Open the pod bay doors, Hal.
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
horror,
Oh, no tears, please. It's a waste of good suffering.
and the continuing adventures of James Spader, sexual deviant.
You're not worried that I'm going to fuck you, are you? I'm not interested in that, not in the least. Now pull up your skirt.
So check me out at tworpodcast.blogspot.com, drunkenzombie.com, or subscribe on iTunes. Talk Without Rhythm, the only podcast that will not attract the world. Adios!
Hello, darlings. It's your favorite whiskey-drinking, litigious, singing, dancing fantasy girl. Want to reach out to me and the world's greatest monster-hunting multimedia organization, the Deadites? Log on to Facebook.com/The Deadites. It's got all the info you need to follow the world's greatest monster hunting band, like live appearances, info on your favorite Deadite, music, and all the links you need to our new weekly multimedia and all our side endeavors. Too many letters on Facebook? That's okay, sugar. Just follow us on Instagram and Twitter @The Deadites. Hope to see you soon, and we'll leave the lights off. And we have returned on Trick or Treat Radio.
It's just me in the studio. It's kind of lonely in here. I'll keep you guys company while we wait. Anyways, next up, we're going to talk about the recently released Faith No More album, Soul Invictus. This is the first album from Faith No More in 18 fucking years. How about that? So we're going to dive into that, talk a little bit about Faith No More in general, about how much we dig them. I think collectively it's probably our favorite band, or at least one of them, from the members of this show. So we go way back to Faith No More. We'll talk a little bit about how we found them, when we found them, how much they have impacted our music listening, and just talk a little bit about the new album as well. So Soul Invictus was, let me go ahead and get the date. It just released just today, actually. Wow. May 19th. It was officially released, and they started streaming it last week, so we're able to get a sneak peek of it and get a chance to really listen to it. And I know myself, I gave it probably, 10 to 15 listens in the last week. I listened to it a lot, and that was for two reasons: to really let it all soak in and get a grasp for it, but also because I really liked it. So I know that's kind of maybe giving a little bit of a spoiler right there, but we'll dive into that. But the new album, Soul Invictus, includes 10 tracks, and apparently they had revealed, this is several months ago, that this material was influenced by the Cramps and Susie and the Banshees, and just some old school 80s sort of punk goth, I guess even some new wave type stuff. So definitely some varying influences there. So this album is kind of all over the place musically, as you would expect from Faith No More. Oh, looks like people decided to join me here in the fucking studio. We actually do a radio show in here, Ravenshadow. You know that?
Wednesday already?
No, it's not. It's fucking Tuesday.
Oh, shit.
So, Ravenshadow. Now, it's not so awkward. Like, I can talk by myself, but it's just weird because I'm usually filled with man meat in this room. Or man candy, if you will.
I'll be a Huckleberry. Why don't me and you
Huckleberry Finn?
Yeah, why don't me and you start a bad romance?
Why don't we start a podcast?
Oh, shit.
Where everyone is in the fucking studio when I talk.
That'd be weird. Where's the fucking
it would be
front
weird.
man, the whiskey drinking father, all that's funky?
I don't know.
He's in the fucking great. Oh, he's
yeah.
here he comes.
Oh, no, nope. There he goes.
He's combing his hair.
He's combing his hair. He hit my hair.
We'd have combs.
Trick or Treat Radio combs.
Combs. Give me some of that. What do you got there in the bottle? Can I have one, sir? Damn.
I need to see a guy about a horse.
Dynamo, what is the percentage of soda to rum?
I ran out of soda like 45 minutes ago.
So you got a double gulp full of rum.
Something about Tuesdays. This is exciting. What's Kevin? Is
Mike even on?
Someone's gonna
Yes,
fall
it is
asleep
on. I turned it on for you. I know how much you like that mic. This is your second segment, Mike.
The fake mic.
Yeah, not the real mic.
Don't give me a fucking list of disease on that.
Press it against your lips. He's drinking rum straight.
I was in
It's
love
fucking
with
gross.
a girl that lived in the house that you live in now. Do you know that?
Yeah, well, she has a Ponderosa across the way now.
No, not her. Not her.
Oh,
she lived next door to you.
Really?
No.
Oh, that's private stock Dynamo. Ooh.
So that's fucking nice. That's fucking smooth. Is
Yeah,
that
I
some
love-
fucking Aries Asgardian whiskey?
I like this stuff too because this and the crack and black rum I can drink without soda.
Yeah, I feel like
Okay.
Stan Lee in Avengers: Age of Ultron.
I feel like I can go do parkour like Stanley right now.
This is exciting. Why don't we stop recording and go fucking play outside?
Well, hey, why don't we go drinking tomorrow? How about
Well, that's
that?
what I'm saying. Oh, Johnny's driving.
Hey, I know most of you will hear this on Friday, but if you do live in the Necronomicon area, tomorrow, Dynamo presents the Double Trouble Tour stop in Worcester, Massachusetts, as the Independents and the Black Cat Attack are going to come into town to rock your ass like a filthy enema, and it's going to be awesome.
There you go.
So, for all you bitches that
I'll be there.
complain nothing cool ever happens in Leicester.
I'll be there. I'll be.
Oh,
No, I
Worcester.
assure you.
Leicester. Nothing cool.
We were the only cool thing that ever happened to the 10 redheaded children that That's what we should tell that lady if she ever gets mad of all the shenanigans I tried to pull. Like, your children enjoyed our professional wrestling shows for years.
They did. I'm still having people in their 20s saying, "Oh, did you do the wrestling?" Yeah.
Yeah.
How old are you? I don't want to talk about it.
But yeah, it's gonna be a great show. Meet the Press.
It's funny. I actually was talking about Faith No More about 5 minutes ago before you guys were even in here. But it is important.
You
to
want
talk.
it all, but you can't have it.
That's right. So it's going to be a
What,
great.
are you having a midlife crisis, Johnny?
Oh,
Yeah, fuck.
I need both.
Are you a
of
fucking crack Hitler, Ravenshadow? Yes.
I need both of you to do me a favor and move the chat up somehow, for whatever's going on there is tripping me out.
That was yeah.
You fucking Mama Luke.
I hear. I'll get it. I'll get it gone. Somebody talk. Jesus Christ! I can't do six things at once.
Remember Epic? Epic was kind of like
When
Fisher
I was-
Price, my first Faith No More.
Yeah, it's tough. Like it's the one but think about like how important that is to like just Faith No More's legacy. That is one song on one album that basically built a genre, right? I feel that there are a dozen bands that wouldn't have reached prominence if it wasn't for that one song.
Well, I've had arguments with you guys when we talked about one-hit wonders. Like, I don't think Faith No More should be in that.
I don't think so either.
In that class.
Well, they're not. So before we jump into that, what I want to do is I want to find out what was your experience with Faith No More. When did you first hear them? If you remember, what song was it? That sort of thing. I'll kick it off, I guess. I don't know if you guys need time to think about it, but for me, I was in fucking 4th grade.
Stop it.
So hold on. No. I'm sorry. Not 4th grade. 8th grade.
You had
sorry.
to be close because I was living with my grandmother in the summer, which I did up until I was maybe a sophomore in high school or a junior in high school. So,
and that would be fair to lead into my story, Johnny.
That was the last cassette
Okay.
I bought. How about that?
So
Put that in perspective.
I was at fucking field day in 8th grade. So this is in 1989 when The Real Thing came out. Somebody had a copy of The Real Thing. I don't know who they got it from. I don't remember who it was. I don't remember anything about it, but they put this blue cassette into the player. I don't think I'd ever seen a blue cassette.
No, that was the only.
It had the blue strip.
No, it was a full-out blue cassette. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It wasn't even the gray with the clear with the blue strip? No?
So I had never seen that before, and I was like, "Oh, what's that? Faith No More? I don't know. Who the fuck is that?" So put the blue tape in. I was like, "Okay, cool. Well, it's a blue tape." That actually kind of like had me sold on it already. Play the blue tape, and from out of nowhere, the song from out of nowhere, like it sort of captivated me, and I didn't know what to think of it. I was just like, what the fuck am I listening to? At this point, I had been a big fan of the Beastie Boys, Run DMC, so hip hop wasn't foreign to me at the time, in '89. But it was this weird mix. I was a metalhead. This weird mix of like metal meets hip hop meets I don't even know what else. Like all these fucking funk. There was all these different genres, and it just kind of blew my mind. And I had no idea what to think of it. So we listened to it, and I didn't know what to think. It was weird, but I liked it. And then, like, that Saturday night, so the following Saturday night, watching Headbangers Ball, I saw the video for Epic come on. Yeah. And that, because I'd already was sort of familiar with it. I'd heard it once or twice. And then when I saw that video, fucking sold. And that song just completely changed the way I listen to music, I think. And I don't know if you called in Dynamo. I haven't listened to it yet, but I know on OTC they did top 10 albums that changed the way you listen to music.
I didn't ever bring it up, but I made a list and did the Dynamo finish a move and never sent it.
Oh, of course. But for me, I would have to say that The Real Thing would be one of those for me because it definitely changed the way I viewed music. That was a groundbreaking album for me. So that's just my sort of story about that. If either one of you guys want to jump in.
My story is very similar, but I saw it on the Headbangers Ball.
Okay, yep.
And I was Mr. Electronic guy.
Yeah,
at the
yeah.
time. I would say the only thing I would say They Might Be Giants were probably the biggest like contemporary band at the time that I listened to that weren't, but they had a lot of like synth and whirly in it, so I used it as an excuse for that. It was okay because when you're young, you tend to have to justify the music that you listen to, even to yourself. And I think that They Might Be Giants Flood in this record, like, really sit next to the real thing, really sit next to me because while I loved it, I almost didn't like it because they were two records that, like, didn't make sense. Because while it's a more subtle thing on the real thing than it is on some of their later discs, there are different kinds of metal on this record and different kinds of pop. And, like, you didn't, oh man, I look weird with my headband. I haven't seen it yet in real life.
You went from looking like a hobo to like a little boy with a haircut.
You look good. You look like a little boy hobo.
Boy hobo.
Like a teen hobo.
Or a hoboy.
Hoboy.
You're a hoboy.
The lovely Donna Matrix says hello, by the way.
Oh, hello, Donna
Allow
Matrix.
me to matriculate.
I'm trying to get her to sext with me right now on the show, but it's going poorly.
I have a sexting story and basically, if I can throw it out there, if you received a photo from me on Thursday of last week on my Facebook page, I'm sorry.
Wow. What the hell's going on? Wolfie's jumping out the window.
Yeah, I don't want to see the picture.
But if you look at Underwater...
Probably wasn't intended for you. It was meant for my wife.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Really?
Yeah.
Is it this fucking really happened? How do we not know about this?
And if so, how did you take it off?
It came very close to who I intended to be sent for. To be the next name down was a member of the Deadites. Special lady friend.
Wow.
Oh.
And it could have been bad time. So if you received something from Michael Ravenshadow on Thursday night of last week, I'm sorry.
Whose special lady friend do you have?
I'll tell you.
Thing?
I'll tell you off there.
Only mine.
There's certain names that
well,
come up.
yep. If you think of the first names involved.
Yeah. I'm sorry. It wasn't intended for you, and please.
Now
delete.
I'm even more confused, but
yeah.
Yeah, like that's fucking amazing.
I've always don't do dick pics in email.
I had always hoped that your wife would send me a nude photo by accident, but it hasn't happened yet.
She might.
So tell her she could make that accident happen. I'd be
well,
much
if she put him in her phone as Michael Ravenshadow.
Oh.
and then we had the fake mic.
Yeah,
the real mic.
I'm sure she calls me Dynamo. In real life, she calls me Dynamo.
Or Mars.
Yeah.
And when she's drunk and closes her eyes, she calls him Dynamo.
Hey,
Jesus.
One time that happened.
Back to Faith No More.
Yeah,
Anyway.
but like there are different kinds of metal. If you look at Underwater Love to Surprise You're Dead, like this isn't like a record that like even within itself is easily classifiable. This would blow the fucking mind. Metal is so genrefied now. This would blow the mind of young metalheads in 2015 if this came out. You know, now they pretty much look at it as dismissively classic rock. But like, you know, literally there are probably 4 or 5 different kinds of metal on here. And that doesn't even count the uncomfortable, which I don't know. I think I got it on a single, so I'm not sure if it was actually originally on the cassette. But the very uncomfortable End of the World, which isn't metal at all.
Yeah.
You know, so, you know, it's Michael Patton's Ode to Pedophilia.
Whoa.
But,
whoa.
like, you know, like, it's just such a brilliant album. Like, in almost, like, you hate to say it because you want your bands to be successful, but, the bands you love to be successful, but the biggest hit that was on this album, their next biggest hit was their Commodores cover, which I think made it to number 50 on on the American top 40 charts.
The Commodores cover?
Yeah, they did
Easy.
Oh, Easy. Yeah. Oh shit, that's fucking so good.
Yeah.
I was thinking they have the amazing War Pigs cover.
Yeah, that's on.
Oh yeah.
And you get some
That's on
balls
Real
to
Thing,
cover. There are certain bands that you have some fucking balls to cover. But they're War Pigs.
Well, they're fearless. If you go all the way up the thing, I have like some of my favorite covers ever are by Faith No More. And if you go through it, they cover Burt Bacharach. They cover
they do,
the Commodores. They brought think about it. They came back with you know, the first time anyone heard Faith No More in years, they hit the stage with a Peaches and Cream cover. You know, so it's pretty amazing.
And if I can take it to my origin story of Faith No More, and it's super cheeseball, was on Beavis and Butthead.
Yeah.
They had Epic with the fish.
Oh, the fish.
you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
And then cut to, because we didn't get where I grew up, MTV until really 94ish, whenever Beavis and Butthead came on. One of my
really
first
94
in
holy
where I'm
shit.
from.
My life would have been very different if I didn't have MTV in the late 80s.
We had V66,
Yep.
which was a knockoff.
Oh yeah, I remember V66.
There's a great documentary about V6, or allegedly
we
great
talked to-
documentary about on V66 on
We talked to somebody about that, didn't we?
maybe.
I think we did.
But
Maybe.
it's on Amazon now. I don't remember.
I want to see it. But like my first video was the Aerosmith joint, yeah, living on the edge.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And Snoop Dogg's, Dre Day, and then Beavis and Butthead. So I saw Epic on a Beavis and Butthead episode, and then I later saw Headbangers Ball, which probably I know me and you, Johnny, on the same way. We throw the blank tape in, hit record, and record. Hours
for sure,
of footage. Ricky Rackman running amok, Rob Zombie, painting the studio, Alice in Chains, going to the water park, and I loved, Surprise You're Dead, all that shit, and then discovered Angel Dust.
Wait, the album or the drug?
The drug. And then from that, and even one of my favorite Faith No More songs was not by Mike Patton, was
Oh yeah, We Care a Lot.
We Care a Lot, which is a fucking great.
Chuck Mosley.
Chuck Mosley, yeah.
And learning that, wait a minute, he's not the first singer, so
There's a legend, and as I am in a group chat with two of my favorite women in the world that have totally opposite opinions of Courtney Love, there was I don't know if it's fact or urban legend or not, but Courtney Love, I remember hearing briefly saying for Faith No More.
She fucked everybody. She's a
She
Black
did.
Widow.
From 82 to 84.
She's got a nice bum, but really that's all she has going for her. Not to perpetrate my sexist stereotype, but really, it's not just me being sexist. I hate her so much. That is the only good thing that I have to say about her. Well, unless she actually killed Kurt Cobain, and then she's gonna solid on me. But
and then she's like Scourge from the Marvel.
Yeah.
Well, there is
justice is served. Oh.
So Mike Patton is actually he'd be the fourth singer. So
what's funny? I just realized this now, but if you take out, I don't know about Curvin. We've never talked about it. But other than Antichrist, who is one of the newer Deadites, Faith No More, I think, is the only band that is universally liked by all the Deadites. It might be the only band.
You could be right. Does Tiny like Faith No More?
He does. No, what's funny about him? He'll say he doesn't, and then you or I, we played that Download Festival show for him.
Oh, yeah.
And he was like, I always forget how much I like these guys. But then time will go, and I feel like he'll think he doesn't, and then, he'll get reminded somehow.
It's one of those things where, if you're in the club,
the Clud or the club?
The club. If you're a fan of comedians, well, I like Bill Hicks. Well, fuck you like Bill Hicks. You're cool. Faith No More is one of those in the club of cool, right?
It is one of those things where I feel like if you get it, it's like a shorthand. I find like when my friends like Faith No More, I feel when my friends like Faith No More or Self, those are two perfect examples. I feel like they get my music, that we're gonna get along. Honestly, the bromance between me and Ethan McGloofabitz became because of those two very bands I mentioned. You know what I mean? It was really a matter of I want to hang out. Me being at home at Woodland Street saying I want to hang out with that guy more. And one night Gabe Rollins coming home I think that Ethan McGloofabitz is sweet on you because he kept asking if you were coming down. And it's so true. And I'm sure that all cliques of friends have different bands like that.
Mm-hmm.
But what's so neat about Faith No More is that if you look at all the bands that are very important to me, I think the exception of this are probably the Ramones.
Yeah.
They're all you can't shoebox them into genre, so they always get put into the generic thing of rock or pop. But if you heard Easy, or I won't say Easy because it's not theirs. If you heard Just a Man, and then heard Surprise You're Dead, you're not going to think that that's the same band.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that shit happens with this band for albums. If you hear Small Victory and then hear Midlife Crisis, but then turn around and hear Jizzlobber.
Crack Hitler, Jizzlobber.
Crack Hitler, or what's probably, in my top 5 or top 2 favorite Faith No More songs, which is Land of Sunshine. You're not necessarily going to think it's the band. Which brings us, we've kind of skirted around it to their second album, which is Angel Dust, which is probably the best album, in my opinion, of all time. And when I say album, folks, I mean from track 1 to track 12 or whatever it is. This is a complete, well thought out, brilliant album.
It's probably, I'd say Angel Dust would probably be in my top 5 albums of all time.
Yeah.
It's got 13 tracks on it. If you have the special edition, I think it has a couple others, but Midnight Cowboy being the closing it out. So 13 tracks. It is just a fucking amazing album from start to finish. And for me, top 5, definitely, no doubt about it. So one of the things I want to go back just a quick moment. Faith No More goes back to 1979.
Get the fuck out of here.
And they were known as Faith No Man. And the original singer of the band, his name Mike Morris, I think. Let me pull it up real quick. I believe it's Mike Morris. I'll look at him in just a second. But
how about the cat who was always at the WWF shows?
Jim Martin.
Jim Martin.
Yeah, it was Mike Morris. So he was a singer from 81 to 82.
Here's what's hilarious about that. If you go to Jim Martin's Wikipedia page, there's actually a small segment about that particular guy that everybody thought was Jim Martin
that's funny.
at the ECW shows.
I just want to play a little bit of some Faith No Man. I want to see if you guys... because a lot of people don't know about Faith No Man. I didn't for a long time either, so it's certainly no shame in that, This is a track called Quiet in Heaven. Let's see.
79?
I don't know if that's coming through. Hold on. Let me check something. Yeah, I don't know if it's coming through the recording.
But the song you're playing now is from
No. That was from 81 or 82.
Fucking still, though, right?
Yeah.
That's already outrageous.
Well, that's an interesting thing, though. I don't want to always... You weren't ready for consumption. But when we were... But now, not that anybody's going to buy it because we don't look ready for consumption, but as a band, as an entity, as songwriters... we are ready now, you sort of hear about overnight successes, and even bands like Faith No More, they went through a lot before the real thing came out,
Yeah. Wow.
I mean, We Care a Lot was a big college hit.
Yeah.
And that was 3 or 4 years before the real thing, I think.
If what we just heard was before 84, that's outrageous to me. Right?
Is it outrageous?
I think it is.
Yeah.
What was happening before that? Van Halen? Not taking anything away from anybody, but that slap bass.
Well, it's a big funk thing, So
yeah, Jaco Pastorius and there were people that were doing that.
But that wasn't on. It wasn't on the radio. It wasn't.
No. Well, it's hard for us to quantify what the radio was in 1979 because that is when radio stations started to get bought out by bigger companies and really formulaic.
It just seems epic, so to speak. See what he did there? But no, it just that seems really fresh.
Yeah, and if I could actually get it to play right and control the volume, it would be fresher.
Timeless. We care a lot. We care a lot about the fans.
Exactly, yeah. Let me try that one more time. If it doesn't work, I'm just going to give up.
You're dead. I'm sorry, Johnny. One more time. What year is this?
So this was 1983. Sorry. Thought it was 82, but it's 83.
I was 10, folks.
You mean 210?
I was 110.
What, you're like astounded, Ravenshadow. You give up? You quit? I'm going to jump ahead a little bit. But it's actually not too dissimilar. Like, think of like Joy Division.
Nope.
Yeah, okay.
You know? Like, I'm not saying they sound
Who was
just
the
like...
singer?
It's that dude, Mike...
Mike Mosley?
No, it wasn't Chuck Mosley, no.
Mosley?
It was...
He sounds like
Mike Miller, I think, is
Johnny
it.
Rodden.
Alfonso Mosley, FBI. Enjoy Midnight Run.
Mike Morris, it was the original singer. So, there you go. That's... Actually, let me double check. Was that... yeah, Chuck Mosley wasn't until 84. So... That had to have been 82 then that we heard that last track that we heard. So there you go. That's Faith No Man. And then when the singer Mike Morris left the band or it was kicked out, I don't know the deal. It was so long ago, obviously, that they decided to call the band Faith No More because they were done with Morris, Faith No More.
What happened with this band to make them go through so many singers and then have a 16-year like?
I don't know. It just Patton is like a fucking wunderkind. Like he just Wunderkind, Ubermensch. He just clicked, right? I mean, he just was don't get me wrong. The Chuck Mosley stuff's great. I love that album. Introduce Yourself. It's a really good album. But there was just something a little bit missing when obviously, I didn't hear that when it came out. I had to go back and listen to it after the fact, and I was already a fan of Patton. But going back, it just didn't have everything that I needed. Right. If I heard that when it came out, maybe I would have thought differently. But Mike Patton,
sure.
I mean, I think it's well documented on this show. The guy's a fucking genius.
Well, as much as I love The Real Thing, it wasn't till Angel Dust came out that the thing that makes Faith No More so different than every other rock band happened, and that's that they don't just write songs, and this must be Bottom because this is something that has stayed all along despite guitar changes and everything else. They make arrangements. Like their songs are like so well put together.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree. So,
I would say Epic. See if you know where I'm going with this. And this is a horrible analogy. But Epic was like Avengers, the first movie. Everything I loved from front to back, that era, that metal, that stuff. Angel Dust was something that when I got it, I would listen to it. Okay, this is good. And then more and more listens, I got into it and took something more.
I mean, the first single on that was a straight up pop song, right? Was it Small Victory, the first single on Angel Dust? Like,
it might have been.
It seemed like if you look at like Falling to Pieces and whatever else they put out as video singles for The Real Thing, it was a sharp right turn.
Midlife Crisis, pretty fucking great song.
Right, but it's not heavy.
But then even to Album of the Year, waiting so many years for the follow-up to Epic, I'm like, well, this isn't what I wanted. And then really listening to the album and digesting it, I'm like, this is kind of really good. And I think this is what takes us to the newer album, Habeas Corpus, or whatever it's called.
Soul Invictus.
Soul Invictus, thank you, Latin. And I've been listening to it for pretty much at least a week straight.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where my thoughts are now at, where it's just really digesting the content in a legitimate way. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
It's something about them, and that's why I think we dig them, and that's why we're talking about them. Is it fair to say 20 plus years later?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this even more. I mean, I heard him in '89, so go back 26 years. So to like a band for that long a period of time in your life is pretty ridiculous. So that's why there may be people out there, younger people especially, who maybe they came in after Faith No More broke up. So it would have been like 98 or 99, I think, was when they broke up. And so people who were really listening to music in the 2000s have no fucking clue. No clue unless this was shown to them by someone else or they found it somehow. Or maybe even, I guess, Rock Band, because Rock Band had Epic in it. So I guess a lot of people found music through Rock Band, which is really interesting to me that's people were able to discover music through there. But yeah, I mean, so here we are, 18-year break, no fucking albums are released. They did a tour, Dynamo. We went to go see them in Philadelphia.
It's fucking
3 or 4 years ago, which is a fucking phenomenal time. You, me, King Fausto, and my buddy Eric. So that was a really great time right there. So now here we are. We don't have a ton more time to talk about Faith No More, but I want to now 2015 Soul Invictus, their first album in 18 years. Dynamo, what was your impression when you first heard this album?
It's funny. I went in with no expectations because all I had heard was Superhero and Motherfucker.
Yep.
Oh,
and
it's my joint.
I loved Motherfucker. I wasn't so sold on Superhero, but I feel like, we were only getting really, originally, not great, live recordings. And in the studio version of Motherfucker, sated me enough where I didn't listen to Superhero, even though they released it ahead of time, because I wanted to hear it all as an album.
I agree. I actually, when Motherfucker was released, it was a live video of it. I listened to a few seconds of it, maybe a minute, and I was like, I don't want to listen anymore because it didn't sound, quality wasn't great. I didn't want that to be my first experience with the track.
Right. Yeah, and hearing that, I listen to the recorded version of that all the time. That's my milk. But they didn't disappoint me. One thing that I do find that's interesting about it is they have almost 2 introductions on the record.
Mm-hmm.
There's the first song,
mm-hmm.
and then the second track on it starts with a big intro, which was kind of their... kind of something that they do, the way they built. If you look at the abruptness of the intro of Not Falling to Pieces, I'm escaping the first track on The Real Thing.
From Out of Nowhere.
Going into Epic could start the album off. You know what I mean? But I feel like they're very good at their pacing of, they have they typically have a kind of a relentlessness of their records, and I feel like that's kind of what they did. They have the downbeat kind of intro, but going into that first song has a very well put together intro, which really drove home for me that no matter what else has changed about this band in the time that they've been gone, the arrangements are still strong.
Yeah, I'm gonna play just a few seconds of Superhero because Soul Invictus, the first track on the album, I was like, okay, the title track, I can dig this. I really like when it kicks in and the whole band during the chorus, that felt like Faith No More to me. But it still was a little bit different. But Superhero, when that kicks in, that I was just fucking.
Can I just slip it real fast? I feel like Soul Invictus is how they would have ended a record in 1989.
Yeah, you could be right.
Yeah,
for sure. It definitely has that feel to it. So. Let me just play a few seconds of Superhero. Hopefully this comes through not too loud. Yeah, maybe we got to turn it. There we go. So it's got kind of like a punk feel to it, with the way the drums are to me that's what it evoked for me. And then you hear right here, Patton.
Faith No More.
And I was like, I was listening to this in the car, and I just started fucking driving fast and pumping my fist, But yeah, that's when the guitar kicks in. For me, I was sold.
Second favorite track on the album.
Sold right here. So,
and he doesn't generally sing like this with Faith No More ever either. This is more
Bungle.
of not in Phantomas and this
Tomahawk.
is Tomahawk
Fugazi.
is a perfect example. This is like fucking metal Mike Patton, which is interesting because this isn't necessarily a metal song. You summed it up. This is a punk song, but again,
it's got that punk energy
tight,
to it,
right?
Yeah,
and it has the tight arrangement. It's so hard to mix synth with like fast rock drums with that without the synth being trite. But this is almost like mixed like a string arrangement over it. Like it's very, very like vivid where the synth in the drums like exist in the track, and that's real, real hard.
Yeah. So all right, we'll stop superhero right there. So for me, I think it's hard to pick a favorite track because I like the entire album as it is. But for me, that was the one that really fucking like kicked me in the gut and was like, okay, Faith No More is back.
Right now, Motherfucker is mine.
All right, so you guys both take Motherfucker?
Yeah. Oh man, that track 8 on the album that came on. Not only is the intro, the way he's like not a rap, but like his like the bile and the mash.
I'm so happy. I'm always happy to hear Rowdy's voice too. So that makes me happy on recordings.
But when it's like, get the motherfucker on the phone.
Yeah.
Like, we're gonna be quoting that every time we call somebody on this show.
Yeah.
Like, motherfucker is my jizoint. Play some of that, please.
Playing it right now. Do you hear it?
I don't give a fuck.
I don't give a fuck.
No.
we gotta talk over it though, or you two be
No, I
pissed
don't
at
want
us.
fucking tacos.
What?
Did you drink all the rum?
I'm having some rum. Give me a ride.
Is that your line?
Yeah. Wait for it.
Wait for it.
And I'm driving along on Chandler Street.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, Snoop.
Is that what we're gonna say when we ever call someone now?
Yeah, and I'm like, get the motherfucker on the phone.
I hope that I know that I almost wish that they had a new guitar player that sang really well.
Yeah.
So because this is another thing that we haven't seen as much since Angel
This is
Dust.
the spot.
We haven't seen as much since Angel Dust. Like Patton kind of like the King for a Day and Album of the Year were very straight ahead rock albums in their production.
Mm-hmm.
And much like Angel Dust, this has a lot of like multiple Patton vocal tracks.
Yeah.
You know, so you almost feel like it's going to be lost.
So, I'm gonna stop Motherfucker right there.
Oh, stop the motherfucker. There's still elements like, and there are times when like Patton's lyrics or Faith No More lyrics will be like, well, that's kind of silly. Like, wipe my butt and piss me. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I'm not saying it's fucking, it ain't fucking Watchmen gang, but it's fucking, it works. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, it's supposed to be a baby saying it.
I don't know how many babies say that. But
how do you know a baby
they
saying
ain't like fucking like Bruce Willis and look who's talking next.
I just
whatever the fuck.
Oh Jesus.
Got him a shard himself. But no, he's fucking exciting, and you know what? 18 years later, good for you, Mike Patton.
So, as we wrap up the review, because we're not gonna have time to really give this album the kind of due that it deserves.
Let's play every song.
All right. I just wanted to do a bit of a sort of a retrospective in a way, just to
I'm
talk.
jealous of Motherfucker, by the way, because
yeah, so easy, but yet awesome.
I would have loved it for I would have loved that to be what opened the Deadite record, but they did it first.
we could cover it. So, I guess give your overall impression of the album, and was it worth the wait? To wait 18 years.
It wasn't worth the wait, but it's a great album. But there would be no way that nothing could be like, I don't know, like, what could be worth the wait? I always go back to the analogy of sitting in front of a pay-per-view where Rob Van Dam and Sabu were going to fight Hakushi and Hayabusa.
Mm-hmm.
And in my head, I'd made that was going to be the greatest match of all time. And eventually, watching it now, it is a great match. But at the time, I was disappointed because it couldn't have lived up to the fucking phenomenal match that I made in my head. Another similarity is I have been having that fight where Darth Vader gets hit with lava in my head for 20 years before I saw it.
Yeah.
Right. There's no way that fight is going to live up to what I had created.
No.
Like, if Faith No More, halfway through this ever got together, they were going to put out the best record of all time because everyone involved, well, most of the people involved, like Imperial Teen, I think is a great band.
Yeah.
And Mike Patton has put out more great records with different bands than some bands have put out. And, it's just his high expectations. That said, it was a very subtle record. So I feel like this record is going to not have increasing returns Like, I think I'm going to like it more and more as time goes.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not sure that anything could live up to the potential of what I've been waiting for 18 years.
Yeah. How about you, Ravenshadow?
My favorite Beastie Boys album is Paul's Boutique.
It's mine, too. It's the greatest hip-hop record of all time.
It's fair. I really loved the Five Boroughs a lot when it dropped. And there's a lot of time before that. I liked Green Day at Dookie when I was 18.
That's a bad band.
No, but
that's
it's
a
just
bad
saying.
band.
No, but I'm giving you different. I liked Green Day at Dookie. I thought I thought American Idiot was a great album. I did. I still do.
You're insane.
Love.
I think Green Day is harmless, but
Yeah, it's harmless, but American Idiot was a great album.
Isn't that your
I wonder
special
why.
ladies
No
friend?
wonder why you liked it.
Isn't that your special ladies friend's favorite band?
No, she enjoys them.
So you had to like them.
So saying like I love Epic, Angel Dust, I would say I'm not sure quite how to say this album. I would say it's a B, and it's still growing on me. But I'm glad they're still doing it.
Because we've only had one day to listen to this, right, guys?
Yes.
No, they started streaming it last week.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I just got this
That's
afternoon.
that's how you got to listen to it.
No, I know what you're talking about.
But Faith No More grows on you. I mean, it's not.
Tank towards.
Yes.
So for me, I guess you're right, Dynamo. It wouldn't be worth the wait because I wish we had Faith No More music the whole time. So it's hard to say that it was worth the wait.
I know that I'm the only one here that's a fan, but maybe there's some other idiot out there that'll agree with me. This is the equivalent of If They Might Be Giants' last album that they put out for 18 years was John Henry, which in my opinion is one of the greatest pop records of all time. And, you know, you're building off the expectation of not only time, how great that last record was, and the time that you've had to, you know, I've cried to their last record.
Do you want to edit this?
I've been excited. I used, I've used those songs as entrance theme music. Like those records are part of the fiber of my life.
Smoke and Tie used to come out to Faith No More.
You did,
Yeah, what song was that?
yeah.
Strip Search.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. That was exciting.
That was exciting.
You know, here's one thing I have to say about your NCW career and its legacy.
Yes.
Suspect. You never had to fight Smoke and Tie.
No, I'm glad we were friends.
That's why.
That's why I joined his faction. Because I'm like, I don't want to get kicked.
Wait,
for
you
real.
joined his faction?
You joined my faction.
You were guaranteed to get
okay.
kicked for real and punched for real
Yeah,
at least
and
twice.
Or thrown on top of a barbecue.
Barbecue.
And then you'd punch him, and he'd be mad because he didn't understand why you just punched him for real.
All right, so for me, it definitely wasn't worth the wait because I wanted Faith No More music for the past 18 years. But having said that, I mean, I think it's a fantastic album. It almost seems like it takes off right where Album of the Year left off. Like it's sort of a natural progression.
Yeah.
And if that had come out in 99 and not 2015, I think it would have made sense. But it also feels new, current, and fresh. Although I guess Faith No More never would have fallen into that not feeling fresh because of the way that they...
Angel Dust still sounds completely modern.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So
I'd say their only dated Patton record is the real thing. Like that's the only thing that has like any sort of a...
And that's fair. And I'm sorry, I just want to get something off my mind.
and mostly for production value, I think,
agree.
Dynamo, yeah.
Like coming into this show, I kept like, I don't want to sound like fucking Chris Farley. And
Remember that time?
yeah, like, remember when you wrote Imagine? That was awesome. Like talking to Paul McCartney, like.
Well, he didn't write Imagine.
Well, whoever the fuck wrote it. I'm not sure. Ringo wrote it.
Jesus Christ.
Ringo, he did a good job with Imagine. I know it was
Ringo didn't
fucking
fucking-
John
It's not
Lennon.
even a Beatles song.
I know
Yeah.
it was John. Whatever the fuck, but the point is,
I wish
wanna,
Mark David Chapman would come in and get you. When the world's overrun with too many raven shadows, who do we turn to? Mark Chapman.
Nah, I don't think we gotta suck all of fucking Mike Patton's balls, but
We can.
yeah, come on the
I
studio, we'll do it live. If XSplit worked,
I'd let Mike
XSplit-
Patton and Ryan Gosling saw a log on me.
Jesus.
That's weird. Have you heard about docking?
Yes.
You have?
You haven't?
I just found out about docking.
All right. We don't need to talk about it, though.
That's a weird thing. Episode 148, we'll talk about docking. But no, I mean, I enjoy Faith No More. Treat.
Great. All right, everyone. So go check out Soul Invictus. It is the first album.
Hold on. Wait, I'm gonna
Alright.
make a caveat here because I think
A what?
I think the two people caveat.
A caveat.
No, it's caveat when I wrap my arms around Michael Ravenshadow's head and put him in a reverse headlock. That's a caveat.
That's a cravat.
Shut up. Taking out Angel Dust because I feel like that's an easy follow up. What do you guys think is the best Faith No More album?
That's a toughie.
Because Angel Dust isn't my favorite.
I'd have to say Real Thing.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean that's the.
Don't get me wrong, I love King for a Day, Fool for a Lifetime and Album of the Year, but I don't think they stack up to the other two as well. I fucking love them, don't get me wrong, but I just don't think they stack up as well.
Here's what's funny, and I didn't realize this till the other day, and just by going by like track, 5 of my top 5 Faith No More songs of all time
King for a Day
are on King for a Day.
And it wasn't until we watched the video over Yo Joint Johnny that I was like, wow, I actually fucking like this album a lot.
Yeah.
Like, I dismissed it because I so much wanted it to come out. And I'm like, oh, this isn't what I wanted. And then there was some night we were all hanging out before going to Denny's or whatever, and we watched the videos.
You're all about Denny's.
It was fucking the mozzarella sticks were flowing.
Grilled cheese with tomato.
Yeah. Some
Deli Dingers.
Deli Dingers. Scram
Deli
Slams.
What are those seasoned fries?
Oh, seasoned curlies.
I'll still eat those.
Yeah. Can we get those?
Let's go get them
Can
right
we
now.
do those?
I'm hungry.
Good.
You
Can
buy
you
me
drive?
lunch?
Yeah, if you're driving, I'll buy you lunch.
I'll drive.
I am. I have a list. I'm drunk, so I might not. Always say this. But this might be something that only Donna and Tiny know. There's a group of songs, and I used to put them on my Walkman, and now I just kind of play them near my ear in the basement when I'm getting ready. And not for a long time. Not till Lose Your Soul by Dead Man's Bones has a song been added to that kind of playlist. But the last song, the song that would be the one that would get me onto this, because not a lot of people know this, but I have paralyzing stage fright, and I am also paralyzingly shy. So those two things, like, I need to be really amped up, and without alcohol, like the times that I've tried to not drunk, #failure. It takes a lot for me to go. There are two. Faith No More is the only band that there are more than one song on. This song is on that list. Land of Sunshine is the song that starts off that list. And the song that ends this list before Dead Man's Bones, which I haven't really put it somewhere in the thing, the song that really amps me up to be able to get on stage and perform, and on some really broken nights I have to listen to it before I even do Trick or Treat Radio, is Just a Man. I can't think of a song that speaks to me as much as Just a Man.
Because you're just a man, Dynamo, no matter what you think.
Yeah.
Whether you're a mortal monster hunter, you're just a man.
Well, it really hits perfect because, like I feel like a lot of people depend on me.
What's better than having Mike Patton write your entrance music? How cool would that be?
If I wrestled tomorrow, Ryan Gosling wrote my.
He'd be your valet. He'd be your.
Because now
everything.
I got that Chikara state of mind that I didn't
Turn
have before,
the
so I just
page
think
in
of
my notebook.
everybody clapping to the Lose Your Soul. Be good.
Nah.
I like what I said.
That's
but
what I'm gonna.
Sure. This guy can't write your music.
No.
Yeah,
I was
he's a
always
big
so
Carter.
surprised when I was wrestling that more people didn't have Faith No More songs, because like they had these great fucking intros. One person, I think it was Mark Gore, had Be Aggressive, but like so many people, like I feel like why weren't there more people? Like it was all about the Rob Zombie and Pantera.
We didn't even
in
talk
early
about Be
2000s.
Aggressive.
No, it's great.
That's fine. I don't want to be Chris Farley.
But you are.
Well, minus a couple of pounds.
Well, what about this track? Another body murdered with the Booyah Tribe.
Oh, Snoop.
Judgment Night soundtrack.
The guy that trained me.
Don't make me drink some of this private
actually
stuff.
used that as a.
This is an entrance theme right here.
Yeah, the guy who trained me used this as
okay.
music. Don Juan DeSanta.
Oh, okay. This is a fucking great track. See, I could go all night just fucking playing Faith No More songs and talking about how awesome they are.
Some seasoned curlies.
Deli.
What?
Deli dingers?
Yeah. I'll tell you what. Put your face in my lap. I'll go get some seasoned curlies. I haven't been using the Astroglide lately.
He's been a busy man.
I got a fucking Rastafarian pad on there. I gotta fucking fix that up. Sorry, folks. Drunk.
And even Mike.
No, it's Booyah.
Booyah Tribe, dude.
Booyaka, booyaka.
It's Booyah on Faith No More. And also, Mike Patton did a lot of guest appearances, but he did a couple on Sepultura on.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. Roots, Bloody Roots, buddy.
The best Sepultura record, I think.
Yeah, it definitely is.
Hey, did you ever pick up that? Fuck, what's the name of the band? Fuck.
No, KSAD, brother.
Did you ever pick up that Chemist record, Wolfie?
No.
His song on the Chemist, Long Weekend, is fucking phenomenal.
It's Roots Extras.
Are you serious?
There's Mine featuring Mike Patton.
Get the fuck out. I'm gonna have some more private stuff. I had tickets to see Sepultura with Max Cavalari.
What is Was it? No, it wasn't Dillinger Escape Plan. Who did he do?
Yeah, he did. He did
do
Dillinger
that.
Escape
Yeah,
Plan.
that was fucking awesome. They covered.
He did Come to Daddy.
An Aphex Twin song.
Yeah.
Yeah, look up if you get the opportunity. Maybe not now, but the Chemist Long Weekend.
Yeah.
That's the shit right there. That whole album's awesome. Though.
Johnny, fucking mix this fucking episode.
Mix it?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Well, just make me to have a copy of all the songs that we're playing.
I'm trying to remember which one.
Michael Ravenshaw's all right, folks.
Look Away. That was the track with Mike Patton. So it was on Roots, called Look Away. It featured DJ Lethal, Jonathan Davis, and Mike Patton.
Hey.
I'll play a little bit of that.
Jonathan Davis, great producer.
You can hear his guttural.
Oh shit, we should like fucking play this fucking music and play laser tag.
What?
Remember that?
No, I don't.
Find a ball pit.
Remember when Aries' girlfriend was running around the laser tag pretty much naked?
Yes.
I remember that.
I guess that's a little Jonathan Davis right there for you.
Yeah, go to the ground round.
It was a good technique because I came around the corner and I didn't shoot her. I went in the bathroom a few minutes later and shot in the sink. But
what?
You can go
in the sink. Why not the bathroom? Like the actual like.
I couldn't like. I don't know.
Toilet.
That girl had a 0 score for personality, but a 10 for everything else. So I couldn't make it that far. They're lucky I didn't shoot one into the ball pit.
Hear him right there.
Is that Patton?
I don't know. I think it is.
The listeners don't even know so much stuff that we don't tell them. That's so much more interesting than the radio show.
Yeah.
All
right.
Like in real life, I love Michael Ravenshadow.
Yeah.
And his wife.
Yeah. Hey.
Oh.
Michael Ravenshaw's wife is way more foxy than he is.
That's fair.
Mm-hmm. But I have that problem too.
Hey.
You're way more foxy than she is?
No, when I'm with Michael Ravenshaw's wife, she's way more foxy than me.
All right, I think that's going to do it for our review of Soul Invictus. We didn't really review it. We just talked about how much we love
I ruined the
Faith
show,
No
didn't
More.
I?
No, it
you
was
didn't
exciting.
ruin
I think we did for our first album review.
It wasn't. Yeah, it was more just basically ball washing.
Yeah, did you ever
Don't
hit
look
Enter
at me.
Sandman? That
Enter
was
Sandman.
fun.
Yeah,
My favorite version of Enter Sandman is by the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones.
it's not. It's not. What's his name? Richard Cheese.
I don't know if I know it.
They do.
Probably
He was
do.
your,
Yeah,
he was
it's
your
good,
boy
it's fine.
at the end
The
of
sickness.
Yeah.
All right, so that's it. Go check out Soul Invictus. If you're a fan of Faith No More, definitely go acquire it. You know, you can get it on iTunes, digital media. You can get the CD. You can get the fucking vinyl. I think you can probably even get a cassette. Who knows? But
I bet if you use that Amazon link on Trick or Treat Radio, you could buy the entire Faith No More
you're getting
catalog.
good at
Right,
this.
yeah.
I'm
Jesus
trying.
Christ!
And no, wait, you
About
know what's-
time. 147 episodes.
And I'm gonna tell you something not to do. So just to show you, so people still don't really know Faith No More. Like they're like an entity to us, but people still don't really understand it. I went on to Spotify and made a Faith No More playlist for my cohort Stephanie Wiley, and she had no idea. She didn't.
She doesn't like him.
No, she liked him.
Oh, okay.
She liked him.
I don't think she did.
No, she did.
She said
it sounded like you were making her listen
She was like,
to it.
"Is this
No,
what
no,
boys listen to?"
Yeah.
I sent it to her.
It
no.
sounded kind of 20.
She'll fucking fuck you up like a laser beam.
She would, but I'm saying that because she's not here.
I'm trying to get people to guest star on our show before we start in the summer, and I have to be like, now there's a girl on it who may make you want to kill yourself.
Yeah, she says, listening to Faith No More, courtesy of Dynamo Mars. Is this what guys normally listen to? It doesn't sound like she likes it.
I'll ask her right now.
All right, well,
she's
we need
kind
to
of
move on.
excited.
We need to move on.
She likes Rob Zombie and stuff.
We need to end the show because we are
Remember
running way over.
Is that true?
Over.
How can that be? I got here at like 9:30.
Well, we still have stuff to do, so that's why we're. All right, so we did get some voicemails this week. We only got a couple, but let's go ahead.
I did a Fing Fang Foom.
Fing Fang Foom. All right, do you guys want to hear from? Let's hear from Little Tommy C. Note Washington III again. It's been a while since we heard from Little Tommy. So
I don't know if she wrote in, but Myra told us that a few weeks ago we had the Little Tommy song wrong. It was the wrong sitcom we said.
Oh, well, here's Little Tommy C. Note Washington III.
Yo, I went to the cinemas and I saw this movie, Mad Max Fury Road. It had these dudes on poles. They was swinging, yo. They was swinging. And then this man, Joe, he had all these hoes. He a pimp. And then you had this Max, and he was helping this woman out with a robot arm. And at the end, he didn't even stick around to tap them goodies. He crazy. Anyway, I give the movie 4 crack rocks out of 5. And Ravenshadow, come on down to the hood, and I'll show you what's good.
What, you gonna spit in his mouth so he can drink your rum?
You gonna swap?
4 crack rocks out of 5. Wow, little Tommy C. Note Washington III.
Private stock swap. What's that?
Your balls are in your esophagus?
Oh, that's so bad. Bad times. That's a bad voicemail.
She said, I do like Faith No More, you dumb assholes.
So fucking mean.
I may have added part of that.
Yeah, that would like Faith No More part.
Like
All right, let's hear from, this is from Monsterzero 321 Contact.
3, 2, 1, contact. It's the reason.
I kind of wish he was
here.
here.
That everything happens. I'm gonna get such a message from Ledger like you shouldn't do it during the show.
He doesn't listen on the podcast if he doesn't catch it live.
Go fuck yourself, Ledger. Go back to the fucking hot tub.
You're saying that because you know he's not going to hear
He's
it.
not there.
That's my dad you're talking about.
But how many times is he going to fucking Disney World?
All right, Monsterzero 321.
How many
He lives
fucking
down the
teacups?
road from it.
Yeah, but like
Disneyland.
Oh fuck.
He's literally down the fucking road from it. I think he has like a year pass. He can go whenever he wants.
Yeah, he's to wear the fucking suit.
All right, Monsterzero 321 Contact. Here we go.
Trick or Treat Radio. I want to start a petition. Leave Monsterzero for the 3rd act of the show. Don't let him leave. Keep him there. Let's do this. Come on, fellas. Come on.
All right, let's go.
Monsterzero don't understand why we can't just hold on to each other's hands. Can we just be friends? This time might be the last, I fear, unless I make it all too clear. I need you, Monsterzero. Oh. Take these broken wings
And learn to fly again. Learn to live so free.
when we hear the voices sing. The book of love
Open up and let us in.
Take these broken wings. Don't let Monsterzero leave. Let him stay for the rest of the show.
Wait.
Can we listen to that again?
Let us in. Take these broken wings. Don't let Monsterzero leave. Let him stay for the rest of the show.
Do you ever have fear that like our guests that were on a couple weeks ago, like
broken wings. Take these broken wings. Don't let Monsterzero leave. Let him stay for the rest of the show. Take these broken wings.
I'm gonna listen to that on a loop all night.
I want that to be my ringtone.
Take the change.
Holy shit, that's the worst thing ever.
Holy sheep in a Shanghai basket.
Fucking love.
You know
that
what
guy.
I realized this week through like listening to the show?
Yeah.
That Michael Ravenshadow and I swap for two people
Swap
that don't
spit?
agree. We swap a lot of catchphrases.
Jeepers creepers.
Yeah, that's a me.
Take these broken wings.
Oh shit.
Not even fair.
Don't look at me.
Don't look at me. Don't look at me. I'm ugly in the morning. Oh,
I really
fuck.
thought the Maggie review was really well thought out. And then we took a turn.
Yeah, we took a turn.
Take these broken wings.
I can't get enough.
Don't play it again, whatever you do.
One more time.
Don't play it again.
Take these broken wings.
You never know where it's going to come from. You're going to stay till the end, gang.
I'm gonna pass out.
Put on your iPod, mow the lawn. The show on the kitchen floor is different from the backyard. Where the fuck Dynamo go?
He left the room.
Play it one more time.
Take these broken wings.
He's like a ninja. Where did he go?
Listen. Take these broken wings.
Oh, that's fucking good. That's good. Oh, that's good. Oh God, I love Monsterzero 321 Contact.
He's so much better when he's not here.
That was incredible.
Oh my lord.
Oh, it's hot in here now.
Oh, I can't even take it.
All right, I think we're gonna wrap up soon.
We gotta go. Remember, children.
No, not yet.
Dynamo's back.
He's wearing his pants. Where are his pants? Where did your pants go?
Oh my lord.
I lost him in the war.
They got skulls on them.
Take these broken pants.
Take
These broken pants.
wings.
All right, that's the last time. I can't listen to it again. I'm gonna fucking crack up.
Don't look at me. I'm trying to finish this rum.
Oh God, those are some good fucking voicemail entries today. Little Tommy C. Out Washington the Third and Monsterzero 321 Contact.
You know what I realized? My beard was good for not getting booze all over the front of me. Where are my pants? What happened?
All right, what else happened? I
Lil
can't even
Dynamo's
think.
out?
Can't even think straight.
Jesus Christ.
It's like release the Kraken.
Yeah.
Oh, Bombaleo.
Wow.
Oh my lord.
So what do we
Say,
have
oh my
here?
lord, a lot in real life.
Oh, our boy Encodian tweeted at us.
Finally grown up.
And Cody N called me and told me to watch a certain segment of
What?
wrestling
Oh,
last night. So
okay.
thank you very much, Nathan, Cody, Coy, and Vance.
Nathan Cody Nathan Coy Vance.
Dudes, I
Duke.
have like an hour of promotion and blogging to do later. Like, I don't think I should do it.
You should. It'll be good.
It's
To be
like,
fair, there is
like
a
go
show
watch
tomorrow.
Black Cat Attack and watch me make a fool out of myself.
Are you going to take your
flirting-
pants off at the show?
Flirting with evil. What?
You going to flirt with evil?
I don't know.
I'm wearing a red shirt for Evil because he
Really?
made knowledge of that.
Oh. All right. So Cody says, The Deadites, very cool interview with the director of the Badger game. Looking forward to seeing it.
I know all there is to know about the Badger game.
We also have Cody says, The Deadites also, The Loft is apparently the second remake of a movie that was made in 2008.
Wow, that's a...
And they couldn't make it. They couldn't get it right.
Well, did the original have sexy Cyclops in it?
Probably not.
Ow! I got a fucking dynamo chop for real.
So
That's crazy. Like, so the first one was in 2008?
apparently, yeah.
He said trying to pretend he's a respectable podcaster and film critic. Podcaster.
Yeah, Podcraster. And then my boy
Procrastinator.
Comic Book Steve, he liked the video on our video that we're broadcasting right now on YouTube.
Comic
So,
Book Steve, you're okay with me.
yeah, you're
You
A-okay.
like our video?
Yeah, he liked it.
What is worse than knowing it's somebody's first show and it's the one where I got drunk? Those always are the ones that people are like.
Spider Steve, you're my boy.
Yeah, spoiler alert. Find the one when you fell asleep on the air.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I have
And
whiskey.
bounced off the hashtag anytime Kevin Barbary was on.
I'm sorry I have whiskey dick.
Oh shit! I'm sorry that I got whiskey. Dick, I will get
Yeah,
hard.
because I drank a lot of whiskey before we.
Wait,
even
you got to do a cover of I'm sorry that
So
I got fat.
I'm sorry I
I
got
will
fat.
slim down.
Know what I realized?
Someone didn't shut that door, by the way.
Sorry. Know what I
Someone
realized?
named Dynamo.
I can't get up because you'll see my bare ass. Know what I just realized?
Ratings.
That the song Rock and Roll McDonald's takes a sharp turn if you listen to it. Because at first he's like, McDonald's is a place to rock. It is the restaurant that you buy food at. And then at the end it's like, McDonald's food is bad. It'll put the calories on you.
Yeah.
Like you fucking takes a
Are you
sharp
quoting
turn.
Wesley Willis?
Yeah.
Okay. And how the fuck did Wesley Willis become Wonder Woman's stepbrother?
I don't know.
That's
How did
amazing,
Wesley
though.
Willis do a song called This Next Song?
It's called
Eric
Eric Godin.
Godin. I did that on stage the other day and no one laughed except
I
the
did.
Deadites.
I laughed. Oh, yeah, okay.
I told.
Hey, can I say something?
Yeah.
And I mean it. That last show meant the world to me because unfortunately Antichrist wasn't there, but like I felt like we felt like a family at that show. That's the shit you'll only hear. Like this was a full bottle of rum when I came in.
It was it's
So
significantly
that's it. But that felt like a
less.
family. Like Monsterzero, Michael Ravenshadow on the outside, like Myra coming up and sing with us. It felt like a family affair. So thank you very much.
But if you want to go to a picnic, I would strongly suggest if you listen to us live now, go to Ralph's Chadwick Square Diner tomorrow night.
The Deadites aren't playing, though.
No, but I'm glad you asked, Johnny.
Good bands.
Black Cat Attack, The Independents are running amok. Meet the Press, Providence,
I want to
Rhode
see.
Island.
I want to see
One
Independence.
other person.
I want to see that movie Independence Day 2 feature Evil from the Independents. What do you think?
Evil's a cool fucking dude. man.
If Evil flew the ship and Welcome to Earth.
Yeah.
What Earth?
Welcome to Earth.
Welcome to Earps.
Yeah, isn't that cool that Wesley Willis is Wonder Woman's half brother?
Yeah.
That's weird.
That's
That's
pretty
way
cool.
cool than her other half brother.
All right, we need to wrap this shit up.
No,
What
I
about
think
the
we gotta keep
children?
going. Let's talk about Maggie some more.
No.
The more rum.
Wake up, Maggie. Wake up, Maggie. I think I got something to say to you.
All right. Ravenshadow,
Sorry,
any
Dad.
final things to say?
Dad yelling.
So many, but we should probably go. It's late December, and you go zombie, I'm gonna fucking stab you in the heart.
You stole all the boys, but give me your motorcycle and boots.
Oh,
Maggie, I hope you don't die of the zombie.
All right, Dynamo.
This is exciting.
I think it's time. Why
I
don't
feel
you?
like when you bang that boy, your zombie disease exonerated. Why you gotta be such a slut in the movie?
You're a zombie because you're a whore.
Remember children.
These broken wings.
All right, Dynamo, take us out, please.
Remember children, wherever you go, there you are.
Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to episode 147. We reviewed Maggie and Soul Invictus from Faith No More. Join us next week when we talk about the film Horsehead from Artsploitation
And how fun
Films.
it was to have Ravenshadow sleep over my house because I don't know that he can get home.
One more time.
All right, we'll see you folks next week, episode 148. See ya.
Take these broken